My name's John. I'll be the game master for tonight's Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign. We're playing here at Immortals game store in Rocky River, Ohio. We've got 6 players with us. We've had one shuffling since our previous sessions, but start over on this side and introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
My name is Richard McGuire, and I play Samus the Hobo.
My name is Tom Allman. I play Mustafa Ali, the antiquarian.
My name is Brock, and I play Alexander Stewart. He's a professor at Miskatonic University.
My name is Nate Elwood. I play Father Cecil Sullivan, and I am a Jesuit priest.
My name is Hugh Delury, and I'm playing Declan Steele, a private investigator.
And my name is Diana Robles, and I am playing Rose LaCroix, and I am a parapsychologist.
So, a couple of things that I wanted to cover before we launch in. And the first one is what happened to Margaret. And basically, Margaret has been running a sanitarium full-time, in addition to her investigative ventures. And so what happened was, just as she was getting ready to board the ship, the police contacted her because one of her patients had done something, let's just say, illegal. And she needed to be a critical witness for the trial, and so wasn't able to leave the country at that time. So she had to stay back in the States. You guys were kind of scrambling to find somebody with psychological expertise, and she recommended her good friend Rose to work with the party. Rose, unfortunately, is not familiar with the mythos, though she believes she's an expert on the occult, I think. The other thing that I wanted to mention that I came across when I was rereading this portion of the book is that you had 2 kind of important leads in London that did not come up in past sessions. The first of those, and they both came from Joseph Kensington at Jackson's publishing house.
Okay.
You guys remember who that is?
Yes.
All right.
Someone gave us all those notes from.
Yes, he gave you all of Jackson's notes. There was this one tiny line in a completely different section from everything else that I totally forgot about. So my apologies for skipping over that. But he gave you guys 2 important contacts in London, people he thought you might want to look up. And the first one of those is a publisher for a newspaper called The Scoop.
Is that the 1924 Enquirer version?
You might think so.
That's back behind the cover.
And his name is Mickey Mahoney.
Nice.
He's the publisher and editor-in-chief and lead reporter, and probably 2 or 3 other jobs. Layout, possibly photographer, occasionally runs the press. Yeah.
What was his name?
Mickey Mahoney.
One-man operation.
Almost, yeah. And the other one was Inspector James Barrington of Scotland Yard. In both cases, Kensington wasn't sure what Jackson had to do with either of these people, but he knows that Jackson spent some time interacting with them in London before coming back to the States. So you might want to check in with both of those folks. Sully, I think you were managing the calendar. Do you have that handy?
I was. We ended on the 26th of January, 1925.
And it's going to take 9 days to cross the ocean.
That's not bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
So you're going to arrive February 3rd.
Did the groundhog see his shadow?
Well, that only affected weather back in the States.
Oh,
right. So that's not your biggest concern right now. But honestly, I do not know what the groundhog's report was back in 1925. Off the top of my head, I know. What good am I?
How many heaps did we get from last
How many?
experience?
I think I gave everybody 4.
I thought you said 5.
5?
I could have rolled 6, but we'll see.
You just keep bidding it up?
Yeah.
Well, we can go with 5. I'm
I didn't
comfortable with
spend
that.
mine either.
Fine.
You can have 5 more build points for Rose.
I'm
then,
used to
too.
getting like 500 experience points.
So build points here are direct to your skills. 1 point adds 1 point of skill. So it's a little more linear relationship there. So if you want to add 5 more skills, you can do so. or 5 more points of skills.
What about stability? Does that come back?
Yeah, stability is completely refreshed.
I can break that up. I didn't
Health is completely refreshed.
5 points. I can break that up among you.
It's
I think
stability
so.
separate
Sanity.
from sanity.
Sanity is not refreshed.
How do you get your sanity back?
You don't.
You're unlikely to get your sanity back. Extensive time in therapy, possibly medication, might recover sanity for you.
Can you spend
But if
build
you
points
lose
on
a
getting it back?
No, you cannot spend build points on getting sanity back.
Okay.
If you lose a point of sanity, do you lose a point of maximum stability? That's the part I'm not sure about.
I don't think so.
So I can break that 5 up anywhere.
But if you lose, you can lose pillars of sanity as you lose points of sanity. So if you started off with 9 points of sanity and 3 pillars of sanity, when you lost your first one, went down to 8, you'd be down to 2 pillars.
I have 9 sanity.
I wrote a little story about the one I lost.
Okay, excellent. Yes, you did. I think that's up on the Facebook page, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. So, generally, I think everybody was reading aboard ship. Was there anything specific I need to know about other than that?
It's only 9 days, so I think
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we do.
Okay. In that case, as you guys make your way into London,
Shuffleboard.
I mean, I don't want to talk for everybody though. Like, do you guys have something?
was anyone trying to bring in a firearm to England?
No, I was not.
I thought he had a weapons locker below ship.
There was discussion about doing that. I wasn't positive if you actually followed through on
Weapons
that.
locker. I offered to.
To import some goods,
Right.
yes.
I have an import-export license, so
Mhm.
if there's something that you did not necessarily want to pass through
In
customs,
that case, then yes.
What about
I mean, it's going to cost you.
what
That's
about
all right.
I'm not, Catholic, so I don't have any qualms about, or Christian.
can private investigators, police officers, active military, or anybody with other military credentials carry weapons?
As long as it's an allied military,
It is.
you can.
So if
One thing that... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, being an army chaplain, though, would
No, you
that still
cannot
apply?
So-
you cannot carry a
who
sawed-off
has-
shotgun with a holster.
What a
in
Colt
your
9
coat.
So there's an interesting
Colt
fact
9/11,
about that.
okay.
Who has the law skill?
I do.
You do?
I do.
How many points of law do you have? It's over there on the left, under investigation.
1.
1? All right. You're probably very familiar with U.S. law, less so with British. Does anyone have more than 1 point? If you want to spend that, I can give you a little more clarification. Or if anyone took time to do research on this with the library
This is
use,
the law for London point.
Yeah. I will not spend the point.
you will not?
No.
Okay. Does anybody want to...
I have library use. I could look it up.
So you might have looked it up. So the interesting thing about that, you don't need to roll. The interesting thing about that is that regular pistols, rifles are, generally speaking, very illegal throughout the United Kingdom at this time, because they're considered, weapons that you would use against a person, right? They're weapons of combat.
But hunting
Shotguns,
weapons are
yeah.
okay.
Shotguns are hunting weapons. Shotguns are perfectly okay. They do not fall under the firearms restrictions.
Let's do that then.
All right. Well, I have a shotgun, actually.
All right.
I will bring my shotgun.
Okay. And shotguns are not difficult to acquire when you're outside of London. Inside of London, it's a little trickier, but when you're outside, especially in any of the sleeping farming communities, it's very easy to get one.
I will try though to get my Colt 1911 and your little export import thing.
I have a box of goods, trinkets and stuff like that. Since we're going to Egypt,
Yeah.
eventually, if we live,
I appreciate your optimism.
that I would carry back.
Okay.
So whatever anybody wants to stow in there. I usually pack it full of, like sawdust or wood shavings or whatever.
Sure. Do you have a conceal skill?
I
yes.
do.
How about you give me a roll on that and tell me if you want to spend any points.
Uh,
This will represent how effectively you put things together.
I'll spend a point.
All right.
3.
Okay. You think that you have done a very solid job of sneakily packing any goods within this import-export crate.
Okay.
Is there any other housekeeping matters we needed to address before we dove forward? Okay.
I do know people in London, but they're not the kind of people that you would cable and say you're coming.
Sure.
They're mostly, they would know. They're just people who are good at acquiring interesting
All right.
objects of Eastern or Egyptian origin.
Okay. Very good. Let me I want to delve into one more thing that I suspect Brock is hoping I forgot, and that's that we need a recap of last session before we move forward and
All
start
right.
into the London chapter.
So, the recap was the whole Juju house. So we had tracked the bad guys to the Juju house and met an exporter who was a very nice little guy from Kenya. And he went out to dinner, and we decided to sneak in because he goes out to dinner every day. So we picked a lock, went in the basement, and there were zombies and face monsters in a well, and things got crazy, and people got hurt. And we burned the face monster, stole all the stuff. Some of us got arrested. And defeated the zombies. No thanks to my character who did none of the combat. Just ran away the whole time. Cultists were there. So once the dust cleared, Margaret and I went over to the sister of Carlisle's sister, yeah, to talk to Erica. And Margaret had given the doctor's report to her and said that there's some other things afoot. And she gave us the books that Carlisle had acquired, which are what we read on the trip to London. And then, let's see, we also found out there was another person on the original expedition that we weren't aware of. And it was... just trying to find my notes. Was it Arthur MacWhirls? No.
Did you think of Maweber,
Yes.
who was also known as Benet?
Benet. Yeah, so she was on there too. And we think that she may have had something to do to start the whole thing. And then, let's see, other than that, we just prepared ourselves and got ready to go to London. And then we boarded the boat, took off for London, did some reading on the road while we were there, and I believe we're starting this game pulling up into London, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. So I want to lay this down. Lovely period map of the city.
Nice.
Folks to take a look through. And if I can get your passports in and stamp them as you...
Is this session 8?
I believe so.
We learned some stuff about the Penhew Foundation too last night.
Oh, yeah, good call. I don't remember that as well.
When it was started by 1890 by Aubrey Penhew. The current director is Edward, and the last name escapes me, but it's on one of the cards.
I believe it's Gavignon.
Okay. It was very well funded. They give grants. They have, I think Mustafa said that they had means of getting any of all appropriate documentation for their, import-export stuff from many digs in Egypt. There were 10 current digs and 20 deaths in 10 digs since Aubrey's death. So, over the last 4 years, I guess that would be 5 years.
They're digging for something.
Yeah. Their newest dig, I think, is at Giza,
That's really cool.
and we also maybe hinted that Penhue may have been more financially motivated than academically motivated.
I don't think that was a safe assessment.
Could you describe your character a little bit?
I am. I come from a working class family. My parents imported here from France. I have a fiance. And I kind of just got bored with life and went back to school and took up parapsychology and wanted to travel.
Was your character in New York?
Nope, she's from Cleveland.
From Cleveland.
Ah.
That hole-in-the-wall place that nobody goes to.
Except
Might have heard
for
of
Father
it.
Sully.
It's a little place.
It's the
You know.
parents of the Midwest.
in the Midwest.
So what
There's
brought,
two of us then.
what brought your character to New
I'll
York?
see. Margaret.
Okay.
So I do have one other housekeeping question. What all the artifacts that we found in the last thing, did we bring those with us? Was that in your box?
Yes, our satanical ritual boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so the marine chronometer,
Yep.
we didn't take the poles. We left those long poles that they used to drop victims in the thing.
You did.
That's right.
Okay, so that got left behind.
You decided those were not something you could easily walk through Harlem carrying.
And we have the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. The African Dark Sex,
Yep.
the hardbound gray metal with the Lost Atlantis one. We also have the curved scepter.
Yeah.
There's Egyptian. There's a copper bowl that supposedly sends dreams.
Yep.
The faceless mask with the red tongue that I put on, and it was crazy.
That was actually a different mask.
Oh, that was the curved African wooden
That was
mask
the curved African wooden mask that really everyone should wear.
that I put on that was crazy.
It all has evil attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially.
So we
Really, you
have
should all wear it. It's awesome.
we have that stuff
I do
together.
love stuff like that.
Claw-
Those are
glove-
the things, and then the gloves too, right?
gloves
Mhm.
that have maybe lion
Definitely lion claws.
lion claws on them.
And there's the feathered cloak
Yep.
as well.
That's right. That sort of shimmers.
We lost our expert biologist.
Yeah, all that stuff is in the box.
Okay.
Because, you never know when you're going
Sure.
to have to summon.
How big is this box, just for the record?
It is,
As big as this table.
I envision one of those big old chests, right?
no, it's a wooden box.
Like a crate?
That says Fragile on it.
Of course, it's Italian.
Yeah. It's about the size of the crate that the Ark of the Covenant was in.
Awesome.
Maybe we should take those poles then, so we can carry it.
Well, that does beg the question, how are you going to transport that around? That's not something two people can easily carry.
It's freight, so it'll be forwarded to, a warehouse.
Okay.
Not to bog the game down.
No, I just wanted to
Yeah,
know how
shipping.
accessible it was going to be, if this was something you were going to store in your hotel room, or if this was
No.
something you were going to keep in a warehouse on the docks.
He needs a lorry.
It's going to a warehouse that I use.
Okay.
Right. Perfect.
It's perfectly reasonable.
Some of the books I'd like to keep in our satchel with us. Is that okay? You guys all okay with keeping some of the books around?
I don't want to look at any of the books.
It's fair. I mean, that's my thing. I do want to keep the
I
books around.
think maybe we
Lucky.
should get to our hotel and then,
Well, I didn't start with as much sanity intentionally, so I can cop out.
I mean, if you the book, you mean as opposed to going down and getting them out of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep those in
Yeah.
on us. So the box disappears. I don't want to lose all the books.
All right.
Yeah.
What part of town are you guys planning on staying in?
Piccadilly Circus. It's the best part of London. I don't even know if that exists back
Well,
then.
there's Big Ben,
Look,
there's
kids.
London Bridge. I'm just going to go on a sightseeing tour.
Pall Mall or
Wherever is
Kensington.
there is inconspicuous but not dangerous.
Well, any part of London can be dangerous, depending upon what you decide to do in it. But yeah, Kensington's probably a safe bet for some place that's not incredibly expensive. And
No, I don't want to go down. to
Actually, the
East End or
layout
something.
looks real similar to what it does now.
it's an old city. I think there's a couple more parks.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know anything at all about London, other than it was sacked.
That was a while ago.
long time ago.
Even in 1925, that was a while ago.
Boudica burned to the ground.
Yeah, Kensington's not bad. Let's go there. It's kind of by the castle, right?
Not terribly close.
Oh, that's better.
We got the magic eye over there.
Well, how fast can we blow through $10,000? That's what I want to know. When will our expedition go bankrupt?
Maybe.
Well, I thought
We
you
have
guys did
50,000.
50,000.
Oh, was it 50? I thought it was
Yeah.
only 10.
No, it's 50.
In the 20s, that's a fortune.
That's like $1 million.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you could spend that in London pretty quick if you tried, but I'm assuming that's not the goal?
We could buy a castle.
No.
It's never the goal to spend money, but it happens.
We could go to the
There's
art
no-
museum and purchase some antiquities. I can blow through 50,000 pretty quick. I'm just trying to help you here. They're critical to our investigation.
We'll probably steal them.
It's called repatriation of Egyptian antiquities.
The cool stuff that we want.
Is it on display?
Yeah. The Westerners are very fascinated with mummies and that sort of stuff, but that's not the real powerful.
Well, I heard they make good train fuel. You know, they burn very well in the blast furnace.
Yeah, they're dead. They don't need their. They've
Since
already.
Egypt lacks trees and other types of fuel.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but it's always hot, so you don't really need to
Let's try.
start a fire.
Let's try just Oxford Street's like a pretty main thoroughfare. There's got to be some hotels kind of towards the center of the city. Are you guys cool with that?
So you're looking
Yeah,
at
I was
Soho?
thinking
Yeah,
Central.
like right here at WC.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever
Like,
our
yeah.
travel agent tells us, you know.
West Central London.
Yeah.
That's, I believe that's City of Westminster area, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's the Buckingham
It's gonna be
Palace right here.
It's going to be a little more expensive
Yeah.
to be in that area, but you can absolutely find a hotel there.
That's fine. Central is good, I think.
What is your first move? I'm going to say pretty much you spend Tuesday getting through customs, finding a hotel, and getting everybody checked into rooms. That's pretty much going to take the whole day.
Do I have any problems with my cat? You know, my cat in? He actually has been through this many
So
times.
routinely he'd need to go into quarantine as a matter of course.
What if we just came back from London like 6 weeks ago?
Still technically need to go through quarantine once he had crossed the boundaries.
What about someone with a 2 or 3 credit rating?
If you would like, well,
You'll
Also,
still have
my-
to ritualistically
my cat-
kill it, though.
what's
Might actually have diplomatic immunity.
tell me about your bureaucracy skill.
I'm a bureaucromancer. I have 1 point.
You have 1 point. If you would like to spend your point of bureaucracy, you can get your cat through customs.
I would.
All right.
So we should think about what we're going to do first. We have 3 leads. We have Edward at the Penhew Foundation. We have Mickey Mahoney at the Scoop, and Barrington at Scotland Yard. That's it. That's all we came here for.
So
It's
are
all
you
the
guys-
same to you. I like to stay away from Scotland Yard myself. I think I'll go to see this Mahoney fella.
I don't think they know who you are.
I think the art
You always
museum
assume that.
sounds good to me.
What now?
I'm gonna go stroll the art museum.
Okay.
So we're splitting the party already?
Yeah,
I'd like this
why
plan.
not?
No.
I'm going to assume you're having this conversation Wednesday
Yeah.
morning at breakfast.
Yes.
Does that seem fair?
I say I'm gonna go see Mickey with.
Okay.
Okay. with
I'll go
Sully?
to the detective.
Father
Yes.
Sully?
Yes, with Father Sully.
I'll stick with you.
I'm gonna
How
see-
long is his box going to be in customs?
So the box made it through customs right away. He had all the proper paperwork filled out and completed for that. So it's in the warehouse already. He knew who to make the appropriate payments to, so it cleared its way quickly.
Love it. Gonna have to possibly make a stop there for
Sure.
retrieves and things.
I don't think we're gonna need our guns in London.
You always need your guns.
I don't know.
That's how I know you're not American.
Exactly.
I'm not going to strap a shotgun on my back while walking through the streets of London.
No,
yet.
but a Colt 45 911 automatic fits in my pocket just peachy. I feel much better with it.
So, how long did we plan on staying here? Did we book the hotel for a week?
I don't know.
I think that's
It's
probably
probably rented by the week back then, right? Because most time when people travel, they don't have like. I'm sure if you go to the West End or East End or something, you can probably rent it by the hour.
but yeah.
Yeah. For most time,
Suites.
it's a week.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say, had I been someone that travels a lot, I would say that book your hotel for a week. That way you don't. It is January.
There's how long we're going to be
Or
there.
It's February.
We have 6 months. That's what our passports say.
So it's not the real touristy season.
It is not the touristy season at all, it being
Um,
February.
So we
It's
get a
not
good rate.
There's no. It's not snowing here, but it's probably
For
not.
6 months.
It's
Well,
not
yeah.
snowy, but by no stretch of the imagination is it warm.
Right.
No, we have a time
So-
frame.
What's your case?
6 months.
One thing I want to mention, anybody have
Rose.
Streetwise?
I do.
I do.
Nope. So those of you
Anybody
with
have what?
Streetwise,
Streetwise.
as you were coming in, just happened to overhear some people talking about events that are going on in the city. And one thing that was mentioned several times was the exhibition. And the exhibition,
Is it like a world fair?
it's better than that because it's not the whole world, it's just the British parts, the ones that matter.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. The
You
colonizers.
see, you wonder why I didn't want to go to England.
Yeah, so they have an exhibition going on in London that features things from all of the different colonies.
That they stole from brown people.
Is Kenya a colony of the British? I don't even know.
I'm trying to find
That's
the-
French. I think.
I have no idea.
British were mostly India. French were mostly Africa.
But
Germany.
And Dutch.
Yes, a lot of people
it's
have
all
all
right,
Belgians.
the British Empire exhibition at Wembley. It's in northern London, and the exhibition is intended to stimulate trade, strengthen bonds that bind mother country to her sister states and daughters, to bring into closer contact the one with each other, to enable all who owe allegiance to the British flag to meet on common ground and learn to know each other.
Is it free to get
I want
in?
to bomb it.
That's an Irish thing to say.
Or anybody else.
So it's open every day. Admission is £1.06 for adults and 9p for children.
Oh, that's another thing that we should probably do.
6 pence for adults, 9 for children.
No, £1 shilling and 6p for adults, 9p for children.
Is, get some money exchanged.
Sure. Yeah, I figured with your credit ratings,
Yeah.
you'll routinely do that. There's a lot of different themed areas. There's a palace of housing and transport, a palace of industry, and then each of the colonies has its own pavilion to display cultural, architectural, and technical achievements. Also, the Palace of Arts, Pear's Palace of Beauty, and a few others.
Okay.
It is essentially like you said, like a World's Fair. Only it's just the parts of the world that matter.
Well, we
Maybe I'll
don't.
check that out after the art museum.
Which art museum are you intending to go to? Or do you want to go to the British Museum?
I want to go to the British Museum of Art, yeah. They have
Yeah.
all the cool stuff they stole from other places.
Very good.
I think that we don't have to do it. I don't like to split the party, as someone who's been playing D&D from the 70s would attest to.
I could be stabbed in the art museum. You never know.
That's true, but I mean, some of the things. I don't know if
It'll take them occultists at least a day to know we're
They probably saw us
here. Enjoy
coming.
yourself.
I saw some cultists on the boat actually. Also, we probably. I don't know. I've never gone to like a meeting or something with like 6 people. Now, if I'm gonna kill a bunch of kobolds, yeah, I want 6 people. But going to meet a newspaper guy, it seems. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me.
I don't think any of these people want to meet me, and I don't want to meet
Why
any of
not?
them. They're snobbish British people.
They're not really snobbish. They
They
just
pretend
sound
to be.
like they are. In reality, they're very nice. Except the rich ones.
Well, I think we can just make phone calls from our hotel.
Sure.
Call Scotland Yard to see if we can make a meeting with James Barrington.
We also have like city guides that we can get that show where things are.
Sure. Yeah.
I probably even have one.
Yeah. You probably have a travel book.
Well, so we'll spend a day getting ourselves acclimated, and then you guys want to start meeting the people we got to meet?
Yeah, I mean, let's see when we can meet these people, if we can meet these people.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good idea.
and same with the Penny Foundation.
All right. Well, who's calling whom?
I'll try Mickey with the scoop.
I
Alright.
would like to take go to the Penny Foundation since I'm an archaeologist.
All right.
I probably know
You know the
friends
lingo.
in common with these bastards.
Okay. Now, you said call and you said go to. I just want to make sure I know
Actually,
who's planning on doing what.
In the 20s, not everybody really has phones yet.
That's correct.
Especially in
Well-
Britain. They were kind of behind the times.
What you do generally would be to
Calling card.
yeah,
Thing.
give them your calling card, and the Penhue Foundation is probably also a club, I would imagine, or they go to clubs.
So you did some of the archaeological legwork about them, right? And they are a research foundation, not really a club. They sponsor digs. They have research facilities there, and they do maintain a small museum of artifacts.
Are they like partnered up with a university then?
No, they are their own.
Smash and grab.
They are their own research operation.
I would probably, take Rose and the good doctor to go there.
Okay.
I know some good lunch places in that area also.
Of course you do.
I call the detective.
You're going to call a detective. Okay. So let me start. Go ahead.
And not knowing if they have a phone, I would probably, like I said, we'll do a call-in card or something to our hotel and use whatever. I'm sure there's a local courier service that can get it to where it needs to be.
Okay.
And go to the warehouse.
I mean, I have you been to London before?
No.
They're probably. I mean, where we, you could, in July, you could probably wear a coat, but if you get caught with a gun, it's probably not going to be good. But we can go to the warehouse.
Thank you.
Also,
We have a lawyer in New York that can bail you out.
but it'll take 9 days.
Well, we do have 6 months.
According to the visa, I don't want to be here that long.
I would, when we go to the warehouse, we could do that in the morning on Wednesday.
Sure.
Go to the warehouse, and I do want to get the copper bowl
Sure.
out of the warehouse. I want to show it to somebody.
Okay. So you're going to the warehouse, you're retrieving the copper bowl, you're retrieving your pistol. Was anybody else retrieving anything from the warehouse? Okay.
You still have all the books, right, Brock?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a satchel.
I have my book.
Oh, out of character here.
Mm-hmm.
The book I read had a spell in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I learn that spell because I read it, or do I have to spend points to learn that spell?
You do not have to spend points to learn the spell.
Or you have to spend points for spell casting?
You at your discretion, you can spend a build point to gain 1 point of the magic skill. I believe I mentioned that in one of the messages to the group.
I'm not doing
That spell cost you 1 point of sanity, so you already paid for it.
So what was the spell in that book?
The spell's title was Contact Formless Spawn of
Sith Aqua.
the Thought. Thank you.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
No.
So what happens when you contact? Just chat?
I
You'd have to
knows?
find out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I really
You should see that book.
It makes the entity aware of your existence.
it
That's
talks
always
about
a good thing.
Nodins and things of that. Basically, it's heretical stuff.
Now
The only reason it's
remember,
not burnt right now is because
all the elder gods aren't like on the same side. They have like enemies and.
There's factions.
you're using the words gods. And it's not
Well, there's more than
In the
one.
Bible it says, "Thou shalt have other gods before me." That means
Exactly.
there are other gods.
right.
Just don't like them more than you like God.
Exactly.
Well, the most important thing that we
See,
did
that
learn from that
Got me
book
thrown out of CCD when I was a kid.
is the symbol for Satagwa, which was that inverted broken
Ankh. Yes. We had seen
An
that symbol.
inverted broken.
Ankh.
You see the screen there in front of you?
That
With
was
And-
that's an
You know how to talk to that
So
guy,
an
now, right?
Ankh is normally like a cross with a loop on the top.
very
And you turn it upside down and break the bottom off. Looks like that.
And then it does correspond with some of the scribblings from Elias.
Yeah. Jackson had definitely drawn
Speaking of
that
which.
figure.
Yeah.
we were debating before about the notes.
Ooh, I just thought of something fun. I'm gonna use the spell I learned to send a dream to Margaret.
Are you gonna haunt her nightmares?
Yeah.
Is that a good time?
Not for her.
So what spell did you learn? What does it do?
Send dreams.
That's kind of cool.
Send dreams.
So you can communicate with people from anywhere then, right? Through dreams?
Yes,
Well, they
They're
can't
listening.
communicate back,
he has
though,
a
can they?
mystic cell phone.
Yeah.
It's kind of a one-way message, though.
Yeah.
He can send them a dream. They can't send one back.
It's awesome.
Pervert.
But if we all learn the spell,
Yes. If
Every
you
night
all
you
learn
can-
the spell and sacrifice to sanity, yes. So
But she can
you have
call
the museum.
if she needed to.
You are thoroughly impressed.
Telegrams are
Do you have archaeology?
also.
I do.
Okay.
How much? Do you have a point of
Oh
archaeology?
no, I have anthropology.
You,
sorry.
okay, and so you don't fully appreciate some of the archaeological context for what you're seeing, but the cultural representations that you get are just inspiring as you're going through it and learning about these past civilizations and the artwork that they left behind.
I have art history too.
All right, then it's very moving for you. You thoroughly enjoy. You spend the full day there from the time they open until the time they close, presumably.
Nothing from Kenya.
And you're really of the opinion that you've barely scratched the surface on what you see.
I'll just have to
You're-
go back tomorrow.
at least you could probably spend a couple of weeks.
6 months?
You might see it all by 6 months.
Oh. Well, you guys know what I'm doing.
All right. Mustafa, you guys went. Mustafa and Father Sully went to the warehouse first thing. So Declan, you were going to make a call to Scotland Yard.
Yep.
All right.
I was going to go with Declan, I think.
I think he was actually going to use the phone for that, or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's how I was going to start to set up some meeting of some sort if we could.
Sure. So you call, get Scotland Yard on the line, and presumably receptionist. Yes, what can I do for you?
I'm looking for a James Barrington.
And what department is he in?
I believe he is a detective.
Oh, very good. And what type of detective?
Type of detective?
Homicide. Go for it.
That I'm unsure of. He was a colleague of a friend of mine who had passed away.
And what was your colleague's name?
Jackson Elias.
I will have to look into that. Is there a number I can contact you at?
Yeah. I give the name and I'll tell him.
And what is this matter concerning?
We were investigating the mysterious circumstances.
Tell him you got money
Yeah.
from the will. That all guarantees a callback.
That's true.
They were friends. And I thought I would like to deliver the message myself.
All right. And your friend's name again was Jackson Elias?
Yeah.
Looking for an Inspector Barrington. And your name is?
Declan Steele?
Declan, you mentioned you were investigating. What agency are you an investigator with?
I'm a friend from the United States, if you could tell my American accent.
Yes, that was a dead giveaway,
Yeah.
sir. But what
A private
what
invest-
agency are you investigating as a member of?
I'm a private investigator of the state of New York.
Oh, a private investigator. Very good then, sir. I'll make sure he gets to you as soon as possible.
She just blew you off.
Okay.
Is there anything else, Mr. Steele?
Oh, that'll be it.
Very good then.
God save the Queen.
You are,
You should have told me I had
let's
money.
say, not confident that you'll be hearing from the inspector soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, eventually we'll kill somebody, so we have to talk to him anyway. So
Yeah, I feel like now I'm like,
Say, oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's money.
yeah.
Now you wish we went to Egypt. Yeah.
I think I might have to go there.
I forgot.
All right.
Oh, that ain't gonna work. Well, Professor, you want to take a trip?
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
All right. So the two of you are going to head. So you're actually not that far, staying in Westminster, from getting to Scotland Yard proper. It's in
you wanna
Westminster,
go with me to the
so
Penview Foundation, Rose?
that's
I do.
not a long trip at all. You could probably just hoof it.
We'll,
I am not familiar with London, never been anywhere, so
we'll
I'll hang
eat
out
somewhere
with you.
nice.
Cool.
What do you like to eat?
Steak. Love it.
Fish and chips. if all
Some
we got.
mushrooms, onions,
Any
saute.
kind of meat you want, they got. So. If you want vegetables,
That portion. I'm totally missing.
God save
particular
me,
page
not
reference.
lettuce.
All right. So you're heading. Two of you are heading down to Scotland Yard.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you are going to lunch, and then from there to what?
to Penhill.
Okay.
And I'm going to the expedition after the museum.
I have the.
There is no after the museum.
Oh, okay.
The museum is a full-time.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's literally several days. For somebody who's into anthropology and art history, that's going to keep you tied up as long as you choose to let it.
Let's all go to the fair in the evening. Let's meet back together for dinner, and then we'll all go to the fair together. Is that
I'm
cool?
not going to the fair. My people.
If Rich is stopped at the museum.
I'll be at the museum for a couple
He'll
of
be
days.
at the museum.
I just think
His
I agree
nose
with you.
out of
I don't
us.
think we should split up as much as we do.
I know, but it seems like maybe we should like get a Scooby-Doo van, maybe.
Well, moving around London, you've got the two, but you also have the hansom cabs, and that's probably the most efficient way to get around town.
Like, well, it depends on what it is. I mean,
Trying to have your own vehicle is
showing up with
problematic.
6 people is.
Can we hire a coach for the week?
You can absolutely hire a coach.
Can we do that? We'll just all do it as a group? All these things?
Well, I'm not going to go to the fair because my people have been exploited by the British. So
I'll go with you. I'll do it all.
I think we should just all stay together. Like, the splitting up's kind of...
I want to go to the fair. I want to check it all out.
You said that earlier, and I agree with you.
None of these
We're gonna go-
people want to meet with a hobo. The hobo-ness will get you not a meeting. You understand?
Yeah.
I can go to the fair.
We
though.
can leave you.
like, how
in the
hobo
van.
are you?
I mean, we could buy you new clothes, or you still
I
going to
can
just
give
shred
you
them?
a cat, please.
It's not the question of how does he look
how
as
he
much
acts.
as how he acts.
He said,
Yeah.
I can give your cat, please.
I mean, you can
My cat does not.
you can
use
clean him
these.
up, but
He's still going
Gotta
to
keep
act like
away
it.
from the hobo.
like
It might change.
uncouth.
he's
I'm
going to
gonna be
act
obnoxious.
like the way all the British expect an American to act.
Classy.
Not the first word that comes to mind.
Unless you're traveling around with a guy with an Irish accent.
Which is
threatening
not
to
that
bomb
uncommon
everybody
in
right
London.
off the bat.
Honestly, I think that there are some things that a hobo could do that we can't. Also.
There absolutely are.
There are some important things like,
How to panhandle.
no, but I mean like,
Get information
gather-
from people on
Right,
the street
yeah.
who might know what's going on in the night.
You guys are book savvy. He's street savvy.
yeah,
That's invaluable. We just have nothing for him to be street savvy about.
were there any of these tendrils of the worldwide cult in London? Anything like that?
Why are you asking me that?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to.
He's fishing for information.
No, I'm trying to.
Because
What are the-
there's a lot of handouts there.
One of the great things about role-playing games,
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you that, is
Yeah.
using your imagination to solve problems.
Absolutely.
Which they literally beat out of you as an adult. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a piece of chalk and give it to Samus, and I'm going to have him go around on the street
And mark the corners.
and
let you know I was there.
no, and make some of these symbols on on
Yeah.
buildings, just to see what happens.
That's a good way to get him killed.
Take this piece of chalk
Yeah.
and go by yourself out on the
Really?
street.
Here, I have an idea.
Take your face
Here's
and
Get a
go.
spray paint.
Here's a pistol.
Can I
Just
just
put this in your
tag?
mouth and pull the trigger and let's see what happens.
Well, you never know.
Here's a
That's
road
true.
flare. I want you to go to the Penhue Foundation,
Right.
screaming you killed everyone at the Juju house. Yeah, just
Just bend over and put it in your butt and then light it and see how that feels. Because that's what you're going to do to this poor hobo.
Well, I mean, it's better than having him sitting around feeling sorry for
I'm doing
himself.
something.
I don't think he
Right.
was feeling sorry for himself at all. He seemed to be the one that was actually enjoying his trip.
Yeah, I'm not getting killed and going.
How will you
I mean,
know?
the
that
British
we're
Museum is gigantic,
dead?
so
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. You can spend as much time there as you choose to spend.
If you see any of these symbols,
You know what? I'm going to get a point of archaeology from this trip to London while you guys are getting killed and going crazy.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's totally
If you
justifiable.
see any cool art with these symbols,
see?
on it,
Yeah,
let
I'm
us know.
looking for that
Points
type
for
of
when
stuff.
we have a thing to do with academic or personal ability.
Technically, you're not supposed
Okay.
to spend them during a game session, but if you do it and don't tell me,
No,
I will happily look the other way.
I wouldn't be right about it. I just feel
Okay.
like
You're supposed to spend them between sessions.
kind of like what Rich is saying though. He's
Yeah.
doing stuff
Yeah.
for archaeology or
Well, yeah,
anthropology.
I got those, Mickey Mouse books, and now I've got art and art history.
I just didn't know if you could hold on to things and then during gameplay.
Normally
excuses
not.
for it,
Normally
okay.
you spend them after.
So next
between-
gameplay he would get it for this.
he would buy it between
Gotcha.
On my way to Egypt.
adventure sections. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, I agree that we should probably stick together. But if there's something legally we don't want to do or morally,
If there's an emergency, send me a dream.
That's a good point.
That's gonna get real weird fast. Because then I just have random dreams and think they're coming from you.
Probably.
Why did you do that to me? That was so weird.
If they're an ancient Egyptian, they're probably from me.
All the
So,
crap we're reading, they're probably all ancient Egyptian, my dreams.
you mentioned taking the two of you to the Penhew Foundation, right? Rose and Mustafa
Doctor.
Owen.
Yeah.
Also
If
Dr.
he wants to
Stewart.
go.
All
I'm
right.
not going to make anybody...
So the Penhew Foundation is in central London, also not far from where you guys
We'll
are
make the
currently
trip.
staying.
I'll hang out.
So, you were going to Scotland Yard with whom?
Originally we were going to go, but I think the Penhew Foundation is more important. We should all go together.
I think we have a lot more going on at the Penny Foundation.
The
so
four of you, or are you taking Father Sully as
Father
well?
Sully, will you go to the Penhew with us?
Of course.
Will you? Do you want to go with us, or?
I'm at the Art Museum.
Okay, so it would be the five of us minus Rich.
okay.
You just don't realize it. You'll be better off without me.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I think
It really is.
So
It
the
is awesome.
The Penhew Foundation is on Devonshire Street, off Theobald's Road, which is north of Oxford Street, west of the British Museum. It's actually not all that far from where you're at,
I need
Samus.
this.
So, Rich, it's right by the museum. You want to take a little break and come with us to this meeting?
I can.
Yeah, let's do that. So
Did
you
you
know what's
set?
going on.
I'm sorry. Did you already set up?
Let's go get the hobo. Give,
No,
give
do
him
not
a
set up.
Oh.
break from the
I
books.
thought you already had a meeting set up.
No, no.
We're just showing up.
You don't need me around for that.
yeah, we do.
Can I see the map? And we are where?
I don't know if you all
You're in
want the
central
entire
London?
motley crew.
Uh,
Just showing up for it.
On Devonshire Street, off Theobald's Road. It's near the British Museum. So, a little to the right and up from where you're at, I think. And
Here's
that-
the
so
it's
British
in that-
Museum, right here,
Yeah.
British Museum.
So I assume our morning was taken up going
That's
to the
your
warehouse.
Mhm.
Coming back, we're eating lunch right now, discussing what we're going to do.
Well, I'm not
tonight.
I'm not buying you guys lunch. I'm buying Rose lunch.
She's a Cleveland.
A steak.
Pierogies, right? So
No pierogies.
So yeah,
I had them for lunch today.
what we should probably discuss what we want to find out from here.
I'm not telling what we want to find out, but how are we going to ask about it? Can't just show up and be like, "Hey, well, a dead friend of ours mentioned you," you know?
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
I can
Why not?
accidentally break their window or something.
Then
That'll draw attention.
Well, we know that the Penhew Foundation was part of the original
Carlisle expedition.
Carlisle expedition,
Right.
and we've been tasked by the Carlisles to follow up with it. So it's not inappropriate that we go and talk to them.
Right. We can ask about the Carlisle expedition. We can ask about.
Yeah.
So you actually have the
Robbery.
Carlisles themselves saying it's okay for
Yeah.
you to do this.
Yes. Yeah. The sister
surrogates,
told us.
Oh.
She gave us the books and gave us the blessing and said, "Please go follow up on this." We exhausted our leads, but if you think there's something to do, then you have our full blessing.
Yeah.
So we're here on
kinda
behalf
like-
of the Carlisles.
Yeah. We're going to retrace the steps of the Carlisle expedition.
Right, so we could send, any per diem items we charge to the Carlisles.
Well,
Right.
that's probably not going to pan out.
Edward, we want to see the director, Edward Guggen?
Gavignon.
Gavignon. That's how I spelled it.
Doesn't sound British to me.
So let's go in and ask for him.
All right.
Well, what do we want to find out?
We'll find out what they told the
What is this place
expedition.
that we're at?
It is a
So the
Did,
kind
Pen-
of research
did not Miss
sort of
Carlisle
foundation that deals with
already
like
ask that information?
expeditions
Or
to Egypt,
Presumably.
around the world.
I don't think you guys had a
But
conversation
they're
with her
currently spending
about.
a lot of their time and resources.
According to the papers, it said that they were looking for the lost
And they were
mines of Sullivan.
responsible for
We could
Sullivan.
also bring one of those
Sullivan.
cultist trinkets along.
Well,
That's
those
an
are-
expedition.
That's
somebody
true.
died at.
That's
Yeah.
I
And
have
Aubrey
the
was
the
one of
bowl,
those
and that's
expert
what I was
Egyptologists
going to
that
bring it
went
for.
But you need that bowl. That's your spell bowl. Bring something that's useless.
What about the hat with the tongue on it?
Yeah, but
During
they're going to know if we show up with,
Carlisle is
something that's not.
What about the
an
claw thing?
expedition that ended in
Mhm.
disaster
The claw thing.
in
Claw.
1919. Supposedly,
Or the
Is that
hat with
where
the
Jackson
mask with
died?
the tongue on it. I
No.
think that's
Jackson died.
that didn't have any.
But the other one's not yet.
Okay.
Well, I already brought
Was
the.
he
I
on
already
that
got.
We don't
the-
want to give that to other people.
No,
we want
he
to keep
was
that safe.
He was sort
I
of
got the bowl out of our
investigating
storage
Okay.
unit, so that's
Events.
what I'm bringing. But I mean,
what happened
Cool.
to the
I guess you're not going to be sending any
Okay.
credits
Okay.
when they confiscate your bowl.
why would they
I
do
believe
I don't know. We don't know what we're dealing with.
Had uncovered
And that's also why I got the Colt
Information
75 up on that.
stuff that whatever the Carlyles were a part of was
the?
not
Okay.
So you're bringing the bowl then, right?
Yeah, I would like to talk to Garnage and see if there's he has any information about, or we could have him look at the bowl and tell him what he thinks about it, or either or. One of the other reasons why I wanted to bring the bowl was, it's possible they might recognize it as belonging to the Juju house, and to see if
I mean, do you think that's
see
a
the
good
look on his
idea?
face.
Here
Or,
you go. Send a dream to this director guy about meeting us, and then show up.
I think I need.
Oh, that is a good idea. I like it.
That's how we get all our introductions now.
Well, I keep giving options. He doesn't seem to like any of the other options.
I mean,
So
here's the thing. We don't know anything about this guy or this foundation. We know that Aubrey Penhew was like an expert psychologist that went with Carlisle. And if the chick who set up everybody to go on the expedition also set him up, so what sort of like... We don't know anything about that woman, whose name totally escapes me at the moment.
There was a Penhew that went on that was lost in that thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sir Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, we know more than a little bit about him. I mean,
Other than he was some eccentric that may be insane. But we don't know anything about his foundation.
Let's go find out.
But I'm nervous about showing them an artifact that is used to cast spells.
well, they don't know that. Or if they
Right.
do,
What if
Right.
they do? That's my concern.
That's what we're. That's
Then
the
we become a
information.
target, though, don't we?
But we
not?
already are. I mean, and that's the kind of information that we need, right? I mean, we're not like. I mean, we could go to the library and look up information about,
You always
Sir
go to the
Henry.
museum with me.
but. I mean, I think we probably. Maybe not here are targets, but I mean, obviously, we can't go to New York for a while.
Right.
We should probably lay.
Get right back on the boat.
Right, we should
Just
come
think
into
about that,
Baltimore next time we come back.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the idea that like we have artifacts that are dangerous.
Are we
Would
looking-
that maybe
Bringing
put
you-
Yeah,
them-
we don't know that.
Are we
they're
looking
would
to
they
rile
fear
them
us
up?
a little bit if
Is
we
the main
had
question.
that?
Are we looking to rile them up, or are we just looking to
Or
talk
we
to
become a
them?
target
Talk
for
to 'em.
cultists who want it.
So maybe not bringing the bowl at all.
We're only six.
Simply asking and seeing how
We don't
evasive
know
they answer
anything
the
about
questions.
what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
Well, then what?
If they become evasive, we become aggressive.
Okay.
Let's just burn the place down.
I
Get it
mean,
over
we
with.
came to talk to the Penhew Foundation.
Right.
Let's go talk to the Penhew
But
Foundation.
I think we should stick with like just
Asking about that mission.
asking about the expedition,
Yeah.
Okay.
at letting them know about. I mean, clearly Jackson knew the members of this place. So it's
All
mentioned.
roads lead to the Penhew Foundation. That's why I
Yeah.
thought we
I
all
don't-
need to be there for
You
this.
possibly can rile them up by just simply saying
Yeah,
we're
I
going
just
to
don't
be
wanna be
retracing the
associated
steps
with
of
people when they go
previous
hunting.
one.
Yeah, that too.
I
We're going to
don't blame
retrace
you.
the steps.
I don't remember the. Other than the letter that Jackson stole, I don't know that he had connections to the.
Oh, he had one of their business cards from Edward.
I mean, okay. But
And then the Carlisle Foundation was part of it. Like everything leads back to the Penhead. It
Yeah.
really kind of seems like the
Yeah.
linchpin of where. Well, that's the whole reason we came to London, right?
Primarily. Yeah.
It seems where the Carlisle expedition began in the first place.
Yeah, and we're retracing the
It's
steps
the last
to
place
Carlisle.
that Jackson was before he died.
The last,
And
yeah, all of it.
too.
However
Well,
you want
that-
to look at it.
well, London was, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever he found out here could potentially be directly linked.
just-
On the note that he wrote when he was here in London, that's the writing of a very scared man.
Yeah.
Something here scared him enough to write that down.
Or maybe he met with Edward
I need to see the
to
note.
talk about
Please.
cool.
To talk about the expedition and whatever happened
And here's
thereafter,
your
causing
class
to flee
degree.
London. I think I'm just nervous about showing anything that we've gathered right now. Like, if we can trust Edward and his foundation as being, like, interested in Egyptology.
They're not. They're only after money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're total scam artists. So they either don't know what they're doing.
But what if they do?
That would be a
I mean,
really good thing to know.
They got the Carlisle expedition to a weird place.
You're not afraid, though. I mean, look, I understand, like, the nature of this game out of character. We are going to be hunted eventually. The question is how soon do we want to be hunted?
Well, we got
Immediately.
those symbols. We can start tattooing them on our bodies.
Yeah.
Or just write
And
them
wouldn't
all
they
over the
fear us
city.
maybe
Yeah,
a little
in
bit?
chalk.
If we
I
had
think it's a great idea.
I think the spray can's a better idea. We have to just
If you want to
spray
grab the
cans.
bowl, Declan doesn't see you do it. So if you wanna proceed
don't-
down that path,
I'm not a fan of it either.
I'm more of, like in character, more of a fan of simply saying we're going to retrace these steps and we're going to find out exactly what happened to the Carlisles.
That's what I think is a good start.
I think
Hide
that
the books.
if that doesn't get a response at all, then we must just be wasting our time.
Tell me
I mean,
to spend
it-
points.
So should we just go in there like we want to go on an expedition? Is that what you guys were saying? Like we're trying to do?
Yeah, we're retracing the steps of the expedition.
More along the
and
lines of
we're-
an investigation.
Yeah.
Not even mentioning that we know.
Well, Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, I think so. I think Jackson knew these people.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
But
it's
are we
very.
mentioning to them that we knew Jackson?
Oh, of
and
course,
all
yes.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to sweat a little bit if we can.
Or if there was any relationship between Jackson and the Penny Foundation, we can get that information about why Jackson was in London.
And we can be a bit aggressive when we do it, considering he's dead and all.
Let's go.
Okay, I'll let my cat sleep in the bowl for
I thought you
now.
had a
Alright.
basket backpack thing going on.
I do. I was gonna see if you would cat sit for me.
He's gonna give him fleas.
Yeah, just bring them.
You're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get some
Take a
weird
bath.
messages from that cat.
just bring the cat to the museum and drop them off.
Start craving tuna.
For some
I want
reason, you
them right
want to
next
pee
door.
on all the walls. You don't know why.
He would probably find some cool cats to hang out with at the museum. Okay, well we'll just show up. Give him our card at the door.
So
Yeah.
you head to the Penhew Foundation then. The Penhew Foundation,
Yeah.
you mentioned it's in central London.
Nyarlathotep.
It's a Victorian style building, and it's quite tall. It's
at all?
2 floors.
Nyarlathotep is a powerful,
There is a 9-foot
power
fence that goes all the way around the building. It's
There's a
wrought
whole
iron.
hierarchy of different deities in the Cthulhu
Uh,
mythos.
Mm-hmm.
Is this uncommon? Does it look like a
he is
fortress,
like
or
an
is it
avatar
like
of one of
is
those
that common in this area?
It actually
Cthulhu
looks
is
a
like
little
priest of
more
one,
secure
like a
than any of the surrounding buildings.
Okay.
There are tall windows on the first floor
Dangerous.
and the second floor, again Victorian style. And like I said, the fence goes all the way around, and you can see from the street
We don't
that
know
it looks
anything
like there's a
what
parking
Nyarlathotep
area
is
in the
or
back,
what it
which
means.
is also contained within the fence.
Okay.
From other books,
Um,
we got that Nyarlathotep
It's
is a associated.
looks like the buildings around it are actually a little taller,
one of his many
but this one seems to have
Black
higher
King,
ceilings.
father of
So it's only
dragons.
2 floors, but they're both of those floors look like they're a little bit taller. It just kind of feels a little grandiose as you're looking at it.
Called
Very
El
ornate
Hazrad,
decorations.
You should
It
get
looks
different
like a
communities.
well-maintained,
It's
well
awesome.
cared for, and
In Nyarlathotep.
kind of opulent building
Of the-
as you're checking it
of
out. Are you heading to the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. So
El Hazrad,
I'm going to say it's probably about 2 o'clock by the time you guys arrive. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
All right. At the front door, there is a doorman. And you can see written in gold lettering
Yeah.
uh,
No, actually.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
front door. It says Penhew Foundation,
Yes,
and below
that's
that it says 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through
That's the
Friday.
whole thing, is
Okay.
you and your character.
And the doorman greets you.
You know what?
You
holds
and
the
your
door open.
character are learning
Thank you.
this.
Head on in.
Yeah.
Walking in, there is a desk. You head up kind of a staircase to get to the ground floor, and walking right through those doors, You see the carpet is rather rich. It's red, fairly deep pile. The walls are all dark woods. You see Egyptian-style artwork hanging from the walls. Extensive chandeliers, all chased in gold. Electric lighting. And there's a man sitting at a desk just as you walk in. A reception desk. He looks to be in his late 20s. He's redhead, wearing a kind of a dapper green suit with yellow pinstripes on it, and he seems very focused on writing something down. There's a hallway that extends past him, doors to the left and right, and kind of open rooms around to either side. What you doing?
Good afternoon. You walk up.
Oh, yes. Is there something I can do for you?
Yeah, so came to see if we could get an appointment with Edmund Gore. I can't say his name. Gavignon.
Edward.
Well, Mr. Gavignon is a very, very busy man. I don't think he'd have time for Americans such as yourselves.
Oh, that's all right. We'll just tell the rest of the Carlisle family that he couldn't see us.
Oh, yes. Erica called or telegrammed and said that there were some people coming with a few questions about the expedition.
We give them a card. That's generally.
Oh, yes,
things
yes. Mr. Gavignon was expecting you, and he, after hearing from Erica Carlisle, when is convenient? You were hoping to schedule a meeting, I assume, to meet with him? Let me check his schedule. Both starts flipping through pages of a calendar. I should be able to get you in on Thursday the 12th. Is that okay?
What is today?
Today's
Today's the 4th.
So like a week from now.
a week and a day.
We will be in Africa by then.
Well, when will you be back?
Perhaps dinner?
On the 12th? I think I can do that.
Perhaps dinner sooner? We are...
Mr. Gavignon is very selective about his dining choices.
He will enjoy spending a little time with us.
Oh, well, he did say I should try to get you in perhaps I could have him come in early on the 10th, and you could meet for breakfast then. Would that be acceptable? Say an 8 a.m. meeting on the 10th?
What's today, the 4th?
Today's the 4th. That would be Tuesday.
If that's the best you can do, good sir.
Is there a skill you'd like to be applying to this?
Yeah.
Intimidate?
All of them?
Actually,
No.
let me try something.
How good. Have the Irishman piss off a Brit.
No, actually, I'm going to.
Bargain would be the best
I have
skill.
quite a bit of flattery.
You have
Very
bargain
good
over
with
there.
people, even though I don't seem like
I'm going to use my...
it. I understand the importance of the work that he does, and of course, we don't wish to impede upon any of the things that he is trying to accomplish. It's just that there is a time schedule that we do have to keep, and we do need to see him well before the time.
Well, Reverend, what did you have in mind?
Obviously, this week would probably be a little tough for him to do, but perhaps Friday, maybe in the evening, we'd be able to catch him.
Friday evening, he does already have plans, but, well, how much time did you need?
Not too much of his time, just
An
perhaps
hour.
for tea or something like that, we can discuss it.
I suppose we could do a 3 o'clock on Friday the 6th. I'll have to shuffle some things, and, well, he's not always happy when I have to reschedule his appointments, but I think we can do Friday at 3.
That's perfect.
Is this a man or a woman I'm talking to?
This is a man.
Man.
Oh, okay. But we can always make it worth the while as well. I mean, good work deserves a good bit of compensation. What do you like to drink, lad? As a personal thank you from me
I drink
to you.
tea, Father.
Well,
What kind of tea?
So I'll kind of step in and just ask, while we're waiting for our appointment with him, is there anything in the foundation? Is there open archives? Is there anything we can learn more about the foundation?
Well, of course, the exhibit's right upstairs.
Okay.
He points you to the right of the desk, and there is a staircase leading up over there.
So much. Any information that you can give me, or is it all upstairs?
Well, what information are you looking for?
Just more information about the foundation and the good work it does.
Oh, well, the foundation, our area of expertise is Egyptology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't assume any of you are that familiar with Egyptian artifacts.
I'm gonna eye fuck him for a little bit.
It is a rather esoteric and specialized field. Yes?
Continue.
Oh, you do speak English, I see. Anyway, as I was saying, the Foundation has sponsored quite a few expeditions into Egypt and performed groundbreaking, figuratively and literally, research in Egypt. And we have a selection of artifacts up on the second floor. We also have some study rooms up there. You're welcome to take a look. The exhibit hall is open until 4.
Okay.
So you have a couple of hours to take a look around. It is open daily. You're welcome to take a look and
Do you
see
have
what
anything-
strikes your fancy.
Do you have anything particularly on the mines of Solomon?
Oh, those are surely fictional.
That's the Carlisle expedition was looking for, right?
Oh, that's simply what the rumors said. No, I don't believe that was actually the case at all. But
It's also
Professor
not-
Gavignon
it's
would be
also
the
not in Egypt. either,
would be
so-
the point of contact for any real discussion about the Carlisle expedition. Not me. I'm just an administrator.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Of course, of course. And you can see the hallway does continue on. Past his desk, and there's a number of doors on the left and the right. And again, there is that stairway to the left leading up.
Let's go. I'll go up to the exhibit hall.
Let's go with the guy.
Okay. Is everyone going up there?
I think so, right?
Okay. So heading up to the second floor. It is a wide open room, almost the entire size of the building. So I actually do have a map of the Penn U Foundation for you guys to take a look at here. And as you can see, so you came up these stairs through the double doors, and you were talking to the administrator sitting at the desk here, then took this stairway up, and then stairway curved, and it opened up into this very large room up here. And you can see there's some doors leading off of that room as well, and another stairway in the back that you can see from the time you get up there. And the ceiling up here is a very tall ceiling. It's 20 feet tall, and there's windows from about waist level all the way up to the ceiling, all the way around this enormous room. So it's even in a London wintry afternoon where there isn't a whole lot of light coming from outside, the place isn't dark. And all the surfaces, so there's tables and glass display cases all around in this area. All the tables are finished in marble. The glass cases are filled with mummies, pottery, and other artifacts, statuary,
All
all
over the
around.
world, or is it all just Egypt?
It's all Egyptian. And all arranged neatly in rows. All of it is tagged. There's brief descriptions for everything. It is a striking and expansive collection. There's also the rooms at the front and the back, if you can see, that are annotated there. Those are all marked as file rooms. And there are several people up here currently going through the different exhibits and examining things very closely. A couple of the display cases are open as people are examining things more closely too, using magnifying glass and very careful brushes.
I'd like to use my library use if the archives are open and start looking for information on the Carlisle expedition.
All right, so you
Start digging through.
head over to the archives, and
Are you guys okay with that?
a man in a suit steps over and stops you from going to the file.
Oh, okay.
Is there something I can help you with?
Just was looking for more information on just some of the expeditions that have gone out.
Oh, and which one did you have in mind?
I think the Carlisle one a couple years ago.
Oh, you're not with the press, are you?
No. Family friends from back in New York.
The press has made such a stink over that.
Oh, no, discretion is really what we're best at.
And killing.
I'm going to leave that one out.
Strangers.
Do you have reassurance?
I do not. I have bureaucracy, though.
Like, am I close to Alexander while this is going down?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think you guys really had a whole lot of chance to split up.
Oh, it's for somebody else.
Okay.
It's a curator that you're talking to.
Yeah.
We're not looking to start any trouble or to put anything on paper. We're just simply good friends of the family, and we'd like to know more about the unfortunate demise of our friend.
How many points of reassurance do we have?
All of them.
4.
Because what he said was
different.
very reassuring
Yeah.
and very comforting and made me think, oh, okay, that's great. And then I'd have to take into consideration the fact that A, he's speaking with an Irish brogue in
Right.
downtown London,
Right.
and B, he's dressed as a Roman Catholic priest
Right.
in downtown London.
Right. I get it.
Yeah, and it makes me take it with just a grain of salt.
I do have 4.
Okay.
I could take that down to 3 if that's what you're suggesting.
Would you like to spend a point?
Yeah, I'll toss it down.
All right. Oh, well then, Father, I suppose I could go through the files. Was there something specific you were looking for? They didn't collect nearly as much as you would have expected because things went just... And he kind of drops his voice. So horribly wrong for that expedition in such a short time. I mean, they barely got themselves established in Cairo, and then they left Cairo. I mean, they hardly had any time at all to collect anything meaning, and then there was nothing recovered from their further investigations.
Nothing remained. We're looking for the exact location of the dig site, what they did, what they were able to recover, and what significance that had for them.
Well,
Did you interact with them?
no, I haven't been here that long. That was 6 years ago, wasn't it?
Didn't know how long you'd been here.
I've been here for 3. But, see, most of their records were lost in the tragic incident.
So we agree with you. The press botched everything up, and everything we've heard is rumors. We were looking for. I mean, do you know what really happened?
It's not something that anyone here really likes to talk about, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a blemish on the Foundation's otherwise marvelously successful history.
I don't think that one failed expedition from some Playboy Americans necessarily has anything to do with what a good job the Foundation has done.
Well, thank you. You see, they were doing some test digging just west of the Giza pyramids. And they dug a series of test trenches to help Sir Aubrey's systematic study of Dashur.
What's that?
Oh, it's another ancient site. Sir Aubrey was very intent upon Dashur. I'm afraid I am not an expert on it. The interesting thing is that they did bring back a few artifacts from their digs near Giza, but, well, they're on loan to the British Museum right now. And I don't think they have put them on display at this time.
Okay.
There were a couple of lesser pieces here, and he points, I think those 3 over there came from the Carlisle expedition.
Who is the resident expert on Dashur?
Well, I believe that would be Professor Gavignon.
Okay. Does he have an assistant? Perhaps an underpaid grad student that we could talk to?
His primary assistant is Thomas Canary.
You know you
Mr.
would say.
Canary. I'll hand him my card. Professor Ali is here. We were here a short time. If he could talk to us,
Well,
perhaps.
Mr. Canary usually works as the administrator at the desk downstairs. Red hair? I think he
that
was wearing
was
a
him.
green suit today?
Yeah, we did see him.
Oh, okay. Perhaps you could ask him then.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll stab him with my sword cane.
That seems an extreme reaction.
Oh, I said that in Arabic.
He says in Arabic, that's an extreme reaction.
We will take a look at the trinkets. I mean, the minor.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this Dashur. Do you know anything about it? Maybe you can give a layman's view on it, perhaps.
Oh, of course. And he starts to babble on about it.
I've never heard.
And it gets rather lengthy into Egyptian mythology and beliefs of several different middle dynasties.
So it's not an actual city or place. It is
Oh no,
a theology.
you're pretty sure he's talking about a place,
Oh.
but he's linking in the theology to it.
Gotcha.
Tell me about your archaeology skill.
New?
It's a lot of words.
Okay.
There are definitely words here. Does you have archaeology?
I'm actually an archaeologist.
Okay, so I mean you
Yes.
have
Quite a
several,
So
quite
I
a bit of
have
archaeology.
no points in it, but yes.
Oh, you have no points in
No,
it?
I do.
Okay. So yeah, he's basically telling you the simplified version of things you've known for
I'm gonna
years and
quietly
years.
scoff, raise some eyebrows.
He kind of takes that. Would you rather explain it, sir,
You're doing
Professor?
You're doing fine,
I am
kid.
really
did
just
that
a
in Arabic, too.
librarian. I'm not truly an accomplished archaeologist. If I'm misrecalling things, feel free to correct
You're
me.
doing wonderful, Sonny.
So he does go on,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell he's starting to get a little self-conscious, though, after the noises you made at him. Perhaps you'd
Well,
like to just look at the artifacts they recovered?
Let's go look.
He walks you over, and there are 3 artifacts set aside here, all of which are tagged as being recovered by the Carlisle expedition in 1919. They are several shards of pottery. As an archaeologist, you recognize 2 things about these shards. The first is that none of them are from the same starting vessel. They are just tiny fragments. None of them have any kind of particularly insightful inscriptions. All of them are pretty typical examples of craftsmanship, but they're from probably about a 2,500-year period. And they're not necessarily linked at all. So it's, yeah, somebody went out in the desert, sifted some sand, and found some shards of pottery. It happens. There's no real archaeological significance to it. There's also a couple of fragments of statues in here. Again, yes, they're statues. No, none of these pieces go together.
You can't swing a dead Englishman in Egypt without hitting a piece
Exactly.
of a statue.
Do you think that the test dig was just kind of a cover to get them out there, the expedition out there, so they can move on to Kenya? That they just sent some crap back to say we did it?
No, not at all. Why would you say that?
I would not say that in front of this rube.
Didn't realize he was standing there.
He was showing you that they...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that once he walked away. My thought was to say that to you guys later.
This is.
So do any of these pieces reference your Darfar? Darfar?
The short?
The shore.
Well, that's where they were. That's where these 7 were found.
Ah, I thought you said they're from Giza is the
Well,
shore?
the ones over here were found by the Giza Plateau. The ones over here were found in Dashur. It's all labeled.
I see the labels on them.
Cool.
I've never been to Egypt, so I don't know. Is
Oh,
Ashur
you
in
should
Giza,
go.
like
I-
walking
I-
from Piccadilly to...
I'm certainly, if you talk to Professor Gavignon, he'd be more than happy to help you coordinate an expedition.
Excellent.
That's exactly what I'm looking to do.
I think that's the next move. Great idea. We're in.
Well, lad,
Wonderful.
thank you so much for your help.
Of course. Did you have any further questions? I mean, I realize you're the true expert here, but if there's anything I can do to assist...
Can I add a point to annoying eye rolling? Can I make that
Yeah,
One more
intimidate,
question
that's
for you.
a
what it's doing.
interpersonal?
This is gonna thin ice maybe. The Egyptian symbol for an Ankh.
Yes.
If it's inverted, does that mean anything?
I've never seen one like that. Where did you even get that idea?
It's something I saw on the
In
in
Egyptian
Brooklyn.
culture? Broken? Oh, surely some archaeologist must have just misinterpreted things. Perhaps he found a ruined sample and didn't know what he was doing or which side was up. That sounds very odd.
I think that's all we need to know here.
Can we assess honesty? Well, this guy probably, yeah.
Well, as far as you can tell, he doesn't seem to be lying to you.
Cool. Okay. Let's get out of here then, right?
Yeah.
So,
come back on
You have an appointment for the 6th.
Yes.
Yep. We'll come back on the 6th.
3
Would you
p.m.
guys like to
tea
go
time.
to the detective? So try and get an appointment with the detective next?
Depends on what time it is.
It's probably about 4:35.
By the time we get
Yeah.
there, he'd probably be going home.
And do we just call it a night and start?
It's probably going to be close to 5 because you guys took a little while to look at the
Even at tea time,
artifacts.
he'd only be there for maybe another 20 minutes before.
And you want to wait till the next day? Just go get dinner and sleep?
Be a good idea.
So anything else somebody wants to do today?
On the way out, I will ask the young man.
Well, we're going to go to that fair or whatever.
Does
Yeah,
the
that's a
professor
good
like
idea.
any type of scones or anything like that? It does
It's a
not
really
show
good
that
idea.
hand.
What's going to find out there?
He's
Maybe people will talk about
very
it.
careful about his dining choices. I think perhaps a fine bottle of port would be your best bet.
Like the man on it.
Yeah, Dan has a great idea. Go to the fair tonight.
Sure.
Yeah,
You can absolutely go to the fair.
why not?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at some of the placards on the exhibits, and
Yeah.
I'm going to point at them with my cane and laugh.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
scoff a bit.
Sure. You are quite confident that at least half of them are wrong.
Yeah. That was junk in that box.
But we weren't there to see the artifacts. I was just there to suss out what they were doing.
If they're passing these off as artifacts,
Yeah, if they're junk, what are they researching?
they're not. They're just after money. You know how much you can charge for a mummy? A lot.
Even
Even
tales of people taking them at parties.
yes, but after they buy them. Not a. They don't take apart like Tutankhamun's mummy. It's
No,
just,
no.
They. There were certain periods of time where they would just wrap up anybody that was laying around, but the big important ones are incredibly
So
expensive.
when did they discover that? Wasn't it like the 1930s?
No, it was way before that.
Was it before that?
So you're saying that like this is probably a conversation we're having in a carriage or something on the
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah,
to
you
the
guys did
Union.
say you were hiring
Historically
a coach.
speaking, though, there were like mummy unwrapping. People would get a mummy,
Yeah.
have friends come over so that they could desiccate a corpse.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
So does this place just seem like a sham to you?
I think that
Well, it's an
some,
expensive sham.
I think that some people believe, probably the people who are sitting at the desk or the research assistants probably think that they're doing actual research, but it is just a moneymaker to Penhue, and or was a moneymaker to Penhue.
So that's how you think they're financing the foundation, is just through like cheap artifacts and parlor
Smash and grab.
We'll find out. We'll know a little more on Friday.
If you're gonna go, I don't necessarily want to go to this celebration of colonization. So I'm gonna go to some bookshops and like occult bookstores like Treadwell's and places like that. And just
I'm actually kind of curious to see what they have about Ireland.
I would not take my gun if I were you. You might want to shoot somebody. No, they're probably.
Guys make me out to be some just cold-blooded killer. It's not what happens.
Well, you might lose your temper.
Oh God.
You're an Irishman of God.
Yeah.
Don't kill the innocent. Just theoretical. That's just up for interpretation. So.
I think there was kind of a. They were kind of divided about home rule at this period of time. So, I mean.
Out of curiosity, does anybody have written down when the Carlisle expedition actually left? I know it was 1919, but like what month or whatever. I mean, because that was
the one article that I read, it was October either 3rd or 23rd that they got to Egypt or whatever. That was a newspaper article from New York. I don't know if you remember that article or not.
So a little less than a year after the Great War ended.
They were declared missing on October 15th. But,
Yeah.
And the article I read was dated like the 23rd, yeah.
Okay. We can easily look that up.
Yeah, I
in
got
the
those. I got
newspaper
those.
article
I just
there.
wondered if anybody knew off the top of their head.
We might even still have the newspaper article.
I'm just-
somewhere.
You should.
As a piece,
Yeah, we do.
as a player character in my mind, I'm just like, maybe the significance of after so much
You come back to
bloodshed
the
in the
museum
world
to get your cat.
could be a reason too. I mean, because 1919, literally in November of 1918 was when the last bullet was fired for the Great War. I mean, millions of people died. Maybe that.
well,
But who knows?
more people died from the influenza than during the war, actually. But
Influenza a little different than trench warfare.
I don't know.
I think even an infection probably killed more people than bullets.
Yeah, but I don't know. Something about violence.
Something fell out and it went under the map. Something fell out of the case. I don't know if it's important or not. No, this map. Right
Oh,
here.
that map.
I don't know what that little whatever that is.
Oh.
Probably not important. But I did see it.
I'm just probably going down the blind trail, so.
So whether it's a fair, I'm going to go with some bookshops.
Okay. Anything particular you're looking for in the bookshops?
Anything about cults?
It's a thought
And-
quote.
Did you mention another expedition when we mentioned the Carlisle expedition? Did she say something about another expedition?
That's all
Or
Mary.
that guy?
I'm sorry,
I
what
got
was-
blue.
The
We
guy
asked-
that was downstairs in the green suit, didn't he mention something about another expedition besides the Carlisle?
They've sponsored quite a few expeditions. The Penn Foundation has sponsored more than 20 expeditions. The Carlisle expedition was just one of them.
Anything mentioning the N-word, as in Nyarlathotep? You shall not.
Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking for that. I've heard that name before, but it's not necessarily connected to the Egyptian pantheon. It's something different.
Okay.
And, something that's legendary or
Like that
older
position
than that.
is
So I'm gonna do a
So
little
May.
bit of research. Also,
That is one he left.
I just dig old bookstores.
Sure. Who doesn't?
I'm
You're
taking my cat with me.
All right. Yeah, you're able to pop in around several bookstores. The problem is
Might be enough.
most of them
Yeah.
close at
Can't
6 or
find any
7,
connection.
so you don't have a lot of time, and you don't feel comfortable just walking in saying, I'm looking for a book on the Elder Gods, right?
Right.
You kind of have
No,
to...
I mean, I've been to these,
No, I mean-
some of these places before,
Yeah.
so I'm just kind of browsing. I'm like,
Because
oh, do you have anything on? This is a good book, but do you have anything on the Elder Gods?
Yeah, you get a lot of strange looks, and you don't meet with any success in the couple of hours you're in.
Okay.
Nah, I'm not aware.
I wasn't expecting to, get a book
Sure.
like Elder Gods.
No,
or
I
Goblins.
appreciate it.
Right.
You want something, Greg?
No, thank you.
So you're doing that. Everybody else is heading to the exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm still in the museum.
So the
Until they
museum
close.
closes at 5, and I don't think you guys are going to the exhibition until later than that.
I mean, I feel like we need you to deal with the carnies.
I gotta return this cat.
Mm. Did you cook it?
Well, I was gonna dissect it and get a point in biology, but he might be mad.
Oh, yeah. Also, it's not really a cat, but it's actually an Elder
I
God.
still have self-control. I still have that.
So Rose, what did Mary tell you to get you to get on a boat with us?
Adventure,
Is that what you're looking for?
I think. I hope.
She just wanted a presentation. This is like a world
My
tour.
fiance is a golfer. He's boring. Life is boring at home.
What part of Cleveland are you from?
Pardon?
What part of Cleveland are you from?
The west side. You're from Cleveland?
Jefferson? I think it was called Jefferson back then.
Oh, Jefferson.
Your neighborhood is called Jefferson.
Oh, is it? I like it.
It's well, I don't know. Here.
Jefferson Park is up that way.
I'm off of West Boulevard, actually.
Oh, you're close. We're neighbors.
Almost. I've run a home for veterans with shell shock.
Yeah, go check out the fair.
All right, what pavilions were you guys planning on going to? So there's the Palace of Arts, the Palace of Housing and Transport, Palace of Industry, the Palace of Beauty, Pierre's Palace of Beauty, and then there are the different colonial pavilions.
Art probably is a good one to start.
I'm
Or
actually
the-
more
or the
interested in
Egypt one.
industry.
They have one specialized on Egypt, right?
Yeah, there should be. There were British.
British are more, they're more along.
South Africa, that could be another one.
There definitely would be South Africa, Australia, Canada,
India.
India, and Pakistan, right? I mean, that
Pakistan's not around yet.
well, you're right. It's all just British India.
Yeah.
And they would have Libya. I guess.
Sure.
I don't know if it was called Libya then. Parts of the former Ottoman Empire. I'm not sure. Ireland. Do they have any colonies left in Hong Kong?
Falklands too, right?
What about, didn't they have some
I
islands
thought the
down South
Falklands
America?
were Argentina. Well, that was the 80s.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, so yeah, they do have holdings in South America.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the Dominion of Canada, Bermuda, British Guyana, British Virgin Islands, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Jamaica, British Honduras, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica, Montserrat, Trinidad and Tobago, the Falklands, St. Helens, South Africa, Basutoland, Swaziland, Southern Rhodesia, Nyasaland, Northern Rhodesia, Uganda, Kenya, Zanzibar, Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, Nigeria, British Cameroon, Gold Coast, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Gibraltar, Malta, Northern Ireland, Cyprus, mandatory Palestine, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Transjordan, the Trucial States, Muscat and Oman, the Protectorate of Aden, British Somaliland, Maldives, Seychelles, Mauritius, Gilbert, and all the Pacific colonies.
It's a lot of tents.
Yeah,
The Kenya one's the best one.
the British Raj, Burma, Ceylon, the Strait Settlements, unfederated Malay states, federated Malay states, Brunei, Sarawak, Commonwealth of Australia, Northern Borneo, Hong Kong, New Guinea, the Solomons, Fiji, the Dominion of New Zealand, and probably a few more places that I'm missing.
Or was that? I forgot they got Fiji.
They had pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Well, we care about Australia, we care about Hong Kong, we care about Kenya. And Egypt, which wasn't on the list.
I'm guessing it's just this is the culture. You wanted to say hello in that language type of crap.
No, it's actually artifacts from the location and then examples of their exports and things that have been brought back from there. So when you head to India, for instance, you can smell the curry as you're approaching it, and there are...
I probably smell the curry as you walk into the fair.
Well, fair enough. Actually, once you walk into London, you can pretty much smell the curry. But there's a broad array of different dishes. When you get to the Canada Pavilion, as you're walking past it, there is a larger-than-life scale statue of the Prince of Wales, carved entirely from Canadian butter. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is absolutely impressive.
Beaver pelts everywhere.
Unquestionably,
Yeah.
yes.
Amazing.
Out of curiosity, who's the king right now?
Richard. No.
I should know that. I do
Edward?
not.
Well, there was like
It's
a
not
mission
Edward
in
VIII
England.
yet. It's before Edward VIII.
It's gotta be on his last
The
leg.
brother abstained because he wanted a divorce or some weirdness.
Because he wanted to marry a...
Yeah.
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 And then Queen Elizabeth eventually gets it before World War II,
Yeah.
Right.
control of everything.
George V. George V was king until 36.
He was the one with the stutter, right?
Yeah. From the movie.
Which is how we learn all our history.
The only reason I know that.
Thank you, Hollywood.
Yeah. I normally don't care about England.
Well, apparently he admired the Nazis before they tried to take over the world. He
A
was
lot of people did.
He was a fan.
Ford did. I mean, it wasn't like tons
Well,
of people.
Ford is a huge anti-Semite to begin with. Anybody who takes a country from absolute economic zero to a superpower within a couple of years, as brutal as it may have been, but that wasn't in the public, people are like, hey, he's doing something right.
Kenya, that's the tent. Let's see what they got.
Yeah, let's all go. I like that. Let's go to the Kenya
Sure.
tent.
Yeah.
All right.
Kenya, then art, then industry. We'll just browse around and look around and
I was
stuff.
thinking
around,
like
have a
Kenya,
couple of beers.
Australia,
We can do that too. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got all
Hong
that.
Kong. We have multiple days. We have 6 months.
You can easily spend hours in any of the tents. There is a lot to see here. Keeping in mind, you guys probably got here around 5 o'clock. Probably closer to 6. It's open until 10 at night, so you can't really see the whole exhibition in the 3 or 4 hours you've got.
But it's here all week, right?
It's here until the fall.
Yeah.
So
we'll
it's
just
here.
take our time every night and do this while there's nothing else going on. So
Like
today's
I said,
Kenya.
We have 6 months.
Yeah. Let's go Kenya first. You're right.
Okay. That's an interesting choice you make to go to Kenya.
Speak Kenyan. Thanks, cultists.
So, one of the earmarks of Nairobi is the mountain, if memory serves, right?
Yes.
And as you walk into the Kenyan pavilion, you see that there's a large backdrop painting of this massive mountain in the background. And as all of you walk in, and I kind of wish Rose was here to hear this, but as you walk in, you see this big haunting painting, and the painting comes to life before your eyes, and you see the sky over the painting darken, and crashes of you're at the you decided to go to the Kenya pavilion. You just missed this, and it's in Nairobi. There is this massive mountain that's right next to the city, and as you guys walked in, there was this big painting that showed the mountain in the backdrop, and the sky of the painting just turned pitch black as you walked in, and you saw the light in the pavilion dim as well, and you felt a cold chill in the air, and you heard voices whispering in the distance. Everybody give me a stability check. Tell
I'll
me if you're
spend a point
spending
on that.
points.
Am I
All right.
crazy?
You are. I got a 7.
All right.
So
What is
if you spend points, they come
moment?
back, right?
Eventually,
You
but
just have to like mark it down to 7. You know, you're losing the point by spending
So
it.
a stability roll. You did it. You can actually spend points like you would on a score
I'm gonna spend a
to
point.
improve your
Your die roll, but you have to
Okay.
declare it before you
Alright.
make the die roll.
I also
Even though
got
you
7.
spend
Okay.
a point of stability,
I
I just
will
didn't want to
spend a
go
point.
crazy
completely
early
reduces
on.
your
No,
total pool of
get a
stability
3.
for
Okay.
negative effects that may occur. You still may be better off using stability to make a successful roll than failing on a stability roll, which make you lose 5 points of stability or something like that. So
So I should have
sometimes,
took stability before I rolled
well,
that.
you do have stability.
Well, it's your choice. You've got the stability
I do. I
attribute.
have 11.
You have 11, so you can choose to spend a point just like you would choose to spend it for a skill, but succeeding is still going to be better than failing on a stability.
Sandy, you
Okay.
can start off at 12, right? Originally.
10 minus
So
your Cthulhu
what,
mythos.
what is
Isn't it?
So it's
Usually you need a
it's
4
for
or
every,
better.
Oh,
You gotta
4 or
raise.
better?
yeah. So typically every point that you spend
Well, that's
is
not
one
good.
added to your reduction.
But you still lose those
But you
points
still temporarily lose that stability point.
until we get to Egypt.
until we move to another country.
So what has a stability
Or
of
at the
15?
adventure, or a particularly
Or until you
good
die.
stop.
So can I add one that?
So you declare how many points of stability you want to spend, and then make the die roll and add the points to
All
it.
right. Well, I already rolled the dice.
Well, you didn't know. Go ahead and
I'll just add 1 to it.
so go ahead. You
Roll
declare
again?
declare you're
Yep.
going to spend
And now
1,
you're
and
gonna
then roll the
one.
die.
And now I'm gonna roll 1.
That's what I'm saying. I can feel it.
No,
Let's see if I'm
no,
wrong.
Rich. 4. Oh my God! I'm gonna here.
Did you roll what? You did roll
Yes,
one.
I rolled
All right.
1.
So I
love
heard.
these points.
So, Father Sully, you had a.
3 total with
All
this
right.
one spent.
You're going to lose 2 points of stability, and you just feel like you had a vision of disaster coming from here, and
Should I
as
try
that
to show
feeling
one or just mark it on the side
abated,
like I took one?
the once more the lights
All
and the
right.
painting look exactly like it
You
did
tell
when you
me
first
here.
entered.
I start up here.
Look
one.
around. What just happened?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
wait,
come
sorry.
So I
around.
used one.
What
Use one.
did you
So
roll?
I have
7.
10.
All right.
That's
You
You're at 10.
the lights rose back up. The
I'm at
painting
10.
looks like it did at first.
I
You
used one.
you don't know if maybe you entered a dream state or what, but something seemed off. Declan?
5.
5, just like I was describing with the doctor over here. You felt like you had a vision of some sorts, but you just shook it off. It must have just been your imagination. Possibly all this drinking you guys have been doing in London, since it's all legal here. You're not used to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I said we should have a few beers.
Mustafa,
Lord in
what did you get?
heaven.
He didn't come.
Oh, you didn't come. The smartest one
I
here.
got a 7.
Again, you felt kind of like that must have just been some kind of a vision, maybe a delusion. Probably the alcohol getting into your system.
Did you lose anything?
And
The
Rose,
demons rolled right on through me. I got a 2.
you had
I
a
guess.
2. All right, so you're going to lose 2 more points of stability.
Okay.
And you feel very unsettled. You know you had some kind of contact with the supernatural here, possibly a vision of the future, and you don't feel good about it. It bothered you at a deep level.
Oh, Lord in heaven. You didn't just see that?
I did. I don't know what it was.
We need to grab that painting.
Yeah. We're just gonna walk right out of here with it.
It's, it's 15
It's a
feet
mural.
by 30
It's a
feet.
mural, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Walk behind it. Is it like...
It's a bigger
You
on the
start to
inside.
walk around behind it, and somebody goes to stop you. No, that's the storage area. You're not allowed back there. That's for staff only.
Was somebody else in here?
There's a couple of dozen people. It's a big tent. I mean, it's 30
Shoot
feet
them
by.
all.
Yeah, and nobody else saw.
Nobody else seemed to react.
No
In
one
fact,
else is
when
cursed like we are.
when Father Sully started crossing himself and saying "God in heaven," people were looking at him kind of funny.
He's Irish. It's our explanation for everything.
Funny thing is that works.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the weird part.
He's weird. It's just because he's Irish. Yeah.
A
That was
woman
weird.
comes walking over to you in Kenyan tribal garb. Is there something I could help you with?
Good
You
in Kenya.
seem bothered. Oh,
Yeah.
she expect. Pleasure to hear the language.
The picture, the painting, seemed
Yes.
interesting when we walked in.
Oh, it is a fascinating piece, isn't it? It was done from a photograph.
Who did it?
Oh, honestly, it was kind of a staff project. There were several of the people as we were setting up the pavilion who all contributed to it. I was one of them. I painted that portion right there. She points to the bottom left corner.
It's all black. It's just the shadow.
Just scribbles.
It's just our signature.
Interesting. Well, shake your hand and introduce myself.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, sir. Is there
Come in.
something that brings you to the pavilion?
Just we're interested more in Kenya, more or less the...
Oh, well, you must have some some familiarity if you speak our language.
Yeah, I've never been there. I'd like to go someday.
Why did you learn the language then?
I had
If you don't mind my asking.
I'm an academic. Had some friends, read some books.
Ah, you have an American accent.
Yes.
Fascinating. And what is it you hope to see?
Well, just some of the history and some of the tribes.
Well,
in...
we do have a few excellent history books. Would you like me to show them to you?
Yes, please.
She takes you over. And
Is she speaking in her native tongue?
no, she's speaking English with
Okay.
a British accent.
Gotcha.
With a London accent, in fact.
Oh. She's got a Cockney accent.
Yeah. Oh, not Cockney, but London.
Yeah, we'll just look around and see what we can learn.
Sure. Yeah, she's happy to go on at length. I mean, this is basically what she is here and is paid to do is
It's
talk up
Kenya.
Kenya. Yeah. And so she's happy to answer any questions you have, and seems to know what she's talking about.
Was there anything we wanted to ask about the Kenyan part?
Yes, I want to ask about the tribe.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
But I need to know the name of the tribe first. So let me try to...
What's the name of that mountain? I point to the picture.
It's an excellent question. That's probably not in this part of my book. Hold on. Because I do not remember it offhand, but she gives you the answer immediately because she knows it.
I thought it was in here, but it's not in here.
Mount
Is there a list of
Kinangop.
people that painted? Is there a list of people that painted this mural?
Oh, it's pretty much all staff. I don't think I know everyone's... She rattles off a list of about 15 names. That was Mount Kinangop, Kinangop, and I probably should look up the pronunciation for that because I'm probably mangling it.
Okay. So what's significant about that mountain?
Well, it's right next to Nairobi, so it's the view that most people... This is the view from the center of town that most people have of the mountain.
Is that near the Great Rift Valley?
Yes. In fact, the Great Rift stretches off from Nairobi.
Ask her about... We knew the name of the tribe there. The Marshall Islands.
Nandi.
Nandi, thank you.
Well, I'm not terribly familiar with them. She's able to babble on a little bit about the tribe. That's the tribe that they believe was responsible for killing the Carlyles. Is that the one you're asking
Yeah.
about? Yeah, they're not the most sophisticated of peoples. She talks a little bit about their history, and says they're often rebellious. They don't seem to get along well with outside authority.
What about the Cthulhu tribe?
Which was that?
Can we have a magnifying?
Right underneath the paper, right there.
They were the ones who found.
They get along quite a bit better with the British authorities.
Should we go for broke on this one?
Sure.
I would like to ask another question. If that mountain has any sort of like religious significance to the
Decide
people
where I'm
in
gonna
it.
Many different people have strong beliefs about the mountain. Some
Where's the
believe
exhibit?
that deities
Is it
dwell
Hamburg?
upon its peaks,
The fair.
and that spirits and that all weather comes from it, rushing down upon the city and the surroundings.
Should go see that mountain that just called to us.
Yeah. And because I read the Dark Sex of Africa,
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if maybe there's some correlation between what I read in that book and what we can get from this woman. So what kind of gods reside in that mountain?
Oh, it depends upon the tribe. Different ones have different beliefs. Some believe fertility gods, others believe weather ones.
You ever heard of a dark wind?
Oh, that's the mountain of the dark wind. That's actually a different mountain.
Oh.
It's a bit further on.
It is in Kenya, though?
Oh, yes, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mount Satima is the mountain of the black wind. Just a bit further to the north.
Mount Sativa.
Satima.
Does that happen to be where the Nandi tribes come from?
I believe they're in that area.
Isn't that why that Carlisle expedition got killed?
I can't say that I know for sure. Who was the Carlisle? What expedition was that?
Some American from New York who came out to Kenya to look for Solomon's gold.
Was it called Mount Seat?
Satima. Satima. It might be Fatima, like Fatima with an S.
Hey, bro, do you remember the name of the tribe that the Juju House people were from?
I'm sure, right? The character would know that.
There were actually several tribes involved, but there were a couple of specific ones that I can look up.
I know in one of these things that we got, there's some tribe names. I thought it was this one, but it is not.
I think it's in his notes. That's the
Oh
typed
yeah,
one with all
it's
the
the type
typos.
notes one. Yeah.
Mukunda Madari is, I think, the person you're thinking of.
Yeah, I had that written down.
That must have been important. I just don't know why.
No, that was the person. That was the woman that the speakeasy, right?
No, Mukunda was
Was the cure-
was
the
the very
owner.
large man at Juju House.
Oh yeah, gotcha. The owner was
The owner
And at
was
the loose end, we never tied up.
who somebody didn't have to.
yeah, that's true enough. You did not have to resolve it. Well, you sent him to prison. You got them arrested, but Silas Nakwane
Nakwan, that was it.
and Mukunda Madari.
Cthulhu, Masi, and Namba tribes.
The Maasai was one of the tribes that Silas dressed like a member of,
Mm-hmm.
and you actually didn't get a name of a tribe that Madari belonged to. If he belonged to one at all.
Okay. Well, yeah, learn some Kenya stuff. If there's time to do another tent, we'll do another tent. If not, go back home, go to
The
bed.
street pattern looks like a pentagram.
You can probably hit another one if there's one you want to hit.
Do you want to do the art one? Yeah. Okay.
I'm debating if we should go to the art one or the industry or to possibly the Kuwait, Egypt, or Australian.
Well, let's not debate. Let's just do one.
Yeah, we have 6 months. We'll hit them all.
Just pick one for tonight. You gonna do Australia?
Sounds like a fun time.
Let's
Yeah.
go to Australia.
Let's
That's
go to
another one on our
Australia.
list. Okay.
All right. So you hit into the Australian one,
Mm-hmm.
and there are countless kangaroo-themed exhibits.
Are they hopping around?
There are a few live kangaroos, as well as
Weird.
a couple of Tasmanian tigers.
Yeah,
on
they're not
display.
dead yet.
They are not extinct yet. No. And wallabies, koalas. Yes.
Out of curiosity, at the Kenyan one, was she dressed up like a hero? The ones who dress up like a Victorian English women.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. Gotcha.
There's a lot of lamb-based dishes here, and a lot of desert-style decorations here. Very little that even so much as acknowledges the native tribes. It's all very focused on the wildlife and the European elements that have
So
been
they
brought.
don't have any artifacts from the outback or anything.
Not so much, no.
Pictures of Aboriginals.
Not really, no.
No, not even that.
Not even that.
Okay. They picture the big sheep farms.
Yes.
Now reside with the Aboriginals.
Pretty much, yes.
Is there a didgeridoo?
There is not. That would be more an acknowledgement of the native cultures that are worthless in the British eyes.
It's just a prison colony.
Pretty much.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
There's a, I just Googled this. There's a Egyptian restaurant on Kensington Church Street,
I'm sure there is.
and I'm going to go there for dinner.
All right.
It's called the Alexandria.
Okay. While you're there, you have an excellent meal. You hear some great Egyptian music, and you hear some people at an adjacent table mention that this place is great, but that it doesn't hold a candle to the Blue Pyramid.
You are also attacked by cultists,
Blue.
And sacrifice the elder gods.
and you are now a doppelganger.
Well, I wasn't going to tell everyone that.
Sorry, did I miss the note?
Yeah, the Blue Pyramid. You hear a couple of people mention the Blue Pyramid Club's a much better place.
Okay.
But that's in Soho. The other thing I wanted to mention was that everybody who's at the exhibition should give me a sense trouble roll and let me know if you want to spend points on it.
Yeah,
We're always in
the.
trouble.
Yeah.
I don't even need the skill.
I got a 7.
All right.
I'm not going to spend any points.
Okay.
5.
I got 5 as well.
So I have sense trouble.
So you can spend a
So-
point if you want, but it's early in the adventure. If you use a point now, you can't use it later on, like when we're going to get ambushed by 1,000 crazy screaming people.
I called for sense trouble. So let me know if you want to spend points.
You don't
on it.
have to. You don't have
Spend a
to
point.
spend a point. You can
Ah,
just
I got
roll.
two.
And I'm not going to lose any sanity or anything if I,
No,
if
no,
I
no,
feel this.
no.
Normally,
no.
sense trouble is.
I have a ton of sense trouble.
What it is.
Is what it is. You got.
Mustafa, actually, why don't you give me a sense trouble roll as well, and you gotta tell me if you're spending points.
London's being attacked by Godzilla. We just don't know it yet.
Awesome.
I'm
Two is
gonna,
being attacked by Mothra.
I don't.
Don't know.
I'm eating with my cat.
Yeah.
But, I'm probably not.
You're eating your cat?
No, shut up. I'm not hobo, for Christ's sake.
He's
Everybody's
from
just,
Melmac.
just 3 bad decisions away.
I do not sense trouble. I
Okay.
roll a 2.
All right, so
Does your cat
two,
sense trouble?
two,
Roll for your cat.
Samus,
I got a 5.
5,
2.
Rose,
That's
2,
that
Declan, 5,
Just wondering how it's weighted with all the
and,
skulls.
and Sully, what was your
I got a 7.
I think
7.
the skulls are recessed, so it doesn't affect.
All right. Mustafa, you are having a very enjoyable day.
I'm gonna take the match box from my table and put it in my pocket.
Excellent. Declan, Samus, and Father Sully, as you guys are in the
Australian tent.
Australian tent, looking around, you notice out of the corner of your eye that just over to the side there is a man, looks to be in his mid-30s, probably of Egyptian ancestry, who is very pointedly looking through some of the kangaroo pelts. Off the top of your head, that's not really that big a deal, except for the fact you realize this same guy was in the Kenyan tent while you were there, and again he was standing off to the side, very pointedly looking through a selection of the food options.
So rather nonchalantly. Oi, Declan, my boy.
Yeah.
See the lad over there is. Don't look right now.
I've been watching them since the Kenyan time.
Got an idea for you.
Mm-hmm.
You walk to the left of him, I'll walk to the right of him. And if he bolts, we give chase. If not, we have a chat.
Yeah.
So we'll.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, my God.
All right, so Samus,
Alexander.
Alexander, Rose, are you guys doing anything while they make their move?
Did you bring
Do we even know that
I'll-
there's
a knife
I'll
or a
leave
gun?
Samus does.
I do have a knife.
I don't think I do.
I have a knife.
I'm gonna leave the tent.
Well, I'm not gonna say
All right.
kill the guy. Jesus, no. I'm just.
It never starts off that way.
But it ends up that way.
Yeah.
We've been hunted too
You might
too
hear
often
rope
for
cut or something.
this to
I'm
be
not saying
such
I'm killing
coincidence.
someone.
I mean, I'm just looking at. I'm looking for.
If you guys don't do anything, that'd even be better because you might.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
doing
don't have
anything.
any idea. I'm oblivious.
I don't even notice it.
Yeah, I'm just leaving the tent. That's
Sure.
not going toward the person. It's going away from them.
I'm clueless. I have no idea what's going on at this point.
So you leave the tent. The two of you aren't observant, and you guys see as Samus leaves the tent, this guy turns to follow him.
Oh, it looks like he's gonna get followed as well.
The guy's a homosexual.
Oh,
That's
that's terrible.
witty, but nah, it's inappropriate.
What do you? So you're gonna follow him?
Yeah.
All right. Where are you going?
I'm going to walk over to, let's see, the Hong Kong tent. That's the one
Sure.
we haven't
Sure.
of interest.
Yeah, you can head over there. And as you head over there, you start to go in and start to look around, and you hear a chime that you recognize as Big Ben chiming. Hear it pretty much throughout the town. And you know that is that it's chiming 10 o'clock and that your time is pretty much up. The exhibition is set to close at 10 o'clock in the evening. It's also, it is February, right?
So it's pretty cool.
10 o'clock. It's pretty
Dark.
cold, yeah, and dark. People are starting to close up the pavilions.
Yeah, get our
and
coat on. Let's get
indicate
out of
that
here.
Folks should.
Yeah, head on out.
I want to continue to shadow the guy who
Okay.
was following
Sure.
us.
You notice that. Samus, where are you going?
Well, I was in. So that it closed before I got to the tent, basically.
Basically, you got to the entrance, and just as you started to walk into that pavilion,
So there's no way to like loiter or hide.
you can you can play the dumb American
Yeah.
in front as the very polite British attempt to diplomatically ask you to leave and hurry you out, but because they're not going to bum rush you,
Yeah.
right? They're just gonna
Although I am a bum.
right, but they're still gonna
No pun intended.
oh, it is closing time, sir. We hate to rush you, but we really want to rush you as politely as possible.
Okay, I guess I'll leave.
Okay. But where are you heading to when you leave?
I guess I'll head to the exit.
I'm sorry, I mean from the exit.
Hmm.
Where is your next destination?
So I'm aware that this guy's following me. Yeah.
You are aware that this guy is following you.
How about the London Underground? That sounds like a fun time.
That's awesome. Yes, you absolutely can head to the underground. So you're leading the way.
Yeah.
This guy's following you probably 30, 40 feet back. And then probably 30, 40 feet back of him, you're following. And then what are Rose and...
I mean, if we see everybody
Alexander
leave, we'll
doing?
just kind of head back. You want to head back to
We
the...
Declan and Sully
Declan
just kind of
disappears.
Do you want to just head back to the hotel?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the two of you head back
We'll look
to
for
the
our
hotel.
friends, but if we don't see them, we'll
Remember,
head back.
you can drink in this town.
Yeah, but I'm not a big drinker. My guy's just...
It's Prohibition era. Everybody's a big drinker. Kidding me?
makes my tummy hurt.
All right, so the two of you head back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You head to the underground. Where are you catching a train to?
Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get the guy into the underground. I don't have a destination in mind.
Okay, well, you absolutely have no problem getting him into the underground on a platform because he is definitely following you. Rose and Alexander, go ahead and give me another sense trouble roll.
You spending any points?
You're by yourself now. You might want
Well,
to
you're with
consider your
Alexander.
I'm
Okay, well, you're kind of by. You might as well be by yourself now.
I won't spend points. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I won't spend points. I should have. It would.
You could
What
have
did you
spent
get?
enough points for it.
A one?
I got a
Okay.
one.
Sense trouble?
Yeah. Are you spending
Yeah,
points?
spend a point. 2.
All right.
Jeez, I suck. It's the second.
All right. You guys have a lovely walk back to your hotel. It is completely uneventful.
I suck.
You get on a train.
Well, yeah, I'll get on a train. The destination doesn't matter.
Sure. You get on a train. You're pretty sure the guy following you got on the train as well, but if he did, he didn't get on the same car as you did. Declan and Father, you did see the guy follow him and get on 2 cars down.
Get on the same car that guy does.
Okay.
I'll get one car over from him, though.
Okay. Both of you give me shadowing rolls, please. Let's see how well you're doing at being sneaky.
An Irish
Tell me if you're
Catholic
spending
priest.
points.
Yeah, all right. Oh my gosh, I got a 6.
Wow.
I got a 3.
All right. At the next stop, he gets off.
Get off with him.
You're gonna get off and follow him.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Are you,
Um,
give me a
I don't know that he got off, right?
probably not. What is your sense trouble?
How many points do I have? I have 4 points.
You have 4 points available. Yeah, you notice him get off.
I'm always in trouble.
You did notice him get off.
Okay, I'll get off too then.
All right.
Seems like the thing to do.
Sure. So the train is actually, you ended up outside of Soho. And he's walking down Oxford Street. You guys are trying to follow him?
I
All
don't
three
have
of
any
you?
real shadowing skill at all.
Well, that makes it much more interesting.
Yeah.
I do, and I am trying to shadow him.
So you're trying to shadow him, and you're telling the two of them to stay back like a block?
No.
Just go on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that they're going to give you away.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you guys go across the street?
Okay, give me the shadowing roll then again.
I'm gonna spend another point. Come on, guys. 5.
Alright, so yeah, you got off at the Oxford Circus Underground stop, and
Okay.
he's heading down Oxford Street, and you're pretty sure he hasn't noticed you. He walks down Oxford Street to Wardour Street, and turns south on that, and follows that until he gets to a restaurant or club called the Blue Pyramid Club. It's at 12B Meard Street. M-E-A-R-D. And it's basically a bar and restaurant. And he heads inside. He's far enough ahead of you that you're not able to see what he does once he goes in.
Well, I'm gonna take note of the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm gonna make my way back to them.
Okay.
And just let them know you went into this restaurant called the Blue Pyramid.
Could be nothing.
Yeah, it could be. A little suspicious, though.
When was the last time it was really nothing?
Well,
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
yeah.
You
Not
got a good
lately.
look at the lads, so did I. So did you, right?
Yeah, we did get a good look at him.
You
so
definitely got a good look at him. You will
Was
definitely
he-
recognize him if you see him again.
Okay.
What nationality?
Egyptian. Or looked Egyptian.
He looked Egyptian.
About 30 or so.
Okay.
Question is now, do we go in?
Did
And you know all the
part two?
Egyptians know each other, so.
Just like all the Irish do.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think we should go in. Not yet. Not with the rest of the group.
I could put my PJs on.
Yeah.
Now we just got to figure out where the hell we are and get back to our hotel.
Yeah.
Well, here's the map.
Yeah. Just like a true tourist, I pull out the map. Well, it looks like we're here.
Yeah, so you're in Soho
Yeah, we just backtrack
on Oxford
towards,
Street. Yeah, it's
We're by Buckingham. I know we're by Buckingham Palace. I'm sure there's a stop somewhere by Buckingham
Sure.
Palace.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, you're able to make your way back. It takes a little while, but you can get back. You do also have the car hired, the coach hired, so you can.
Can call the coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, you guys can make it back to the hotel. Is there anything else you wanted to do tonight?
You can tell us about being followed?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
When we sit down for dinner with you all, that are probably already in session.
Was it one person or were there multiple people? And I have no idea if we were followed.
I think we were followed by somebody while we were at the expedition.
I'm Dad Search, and we were followed by somebody.
Check everything in the room. Is everything okay?
Well, they were following me specifically for some
I think
reason.
it's
Yeah.
just you left.
That's what I think.
I probably picked up the fleas at the museum.
Yeah.
So no,
But that's the only place I went that you guys weren't.
Did you
You'll
notice
probably
if we were
Meet back up with them at this
it could
point
have
in
been
the
an
evening,
opportunity
probably for a
type
night.
thing too.
Probably for a
Yeah.
nightcap at this point.
right? We could have. I mean, we're pretty obvious tourists. We could have been a target for something stupid like a robbery.
Yeah.
And you may have been a good target for that.
Like I
It's
have
going to
something
tell me
around.
they're going to rob that man
That's
right there.
right. I have a lot of valuable materials that I carry around.
What did he look like?
It was
30-year-old
just like
young man, Egyptian, went into a place called the Blue Pyramid.
Pyramid.
I've not been there, but I've heard it's good. It's in Soho, right?
Yeah. When did you hear about the Blue Pyramid?
I think it's new.
Not that new. It's been around for probably 25, 30 years.
It looked like a bar and restaurant.
Oh, Blue Pyramid. Yeah, I've been there. It's a den of scum and iniquity.
It's a den of Egyptian expatriates.
It's not something.
I was at the
They have belly dancing there.
Awesome.
And Egyptian music.
I don't think there's belly dancing in Egypt.
They have belly dancing at the Blue Pyramid Club.
Yeah, it's one of those places.
Yeah.
What did he look like? And don't say he looked like he was Egyptian.
I already said that.
I will fucking stab you with my sword cane.
Looks like you without the fez and younger.
That's how I began the conversation.
Yeah. Taller than me, dark hair,
Kind of skinny,
skinny.
short cropped hair.
Is
Not
that-
a very neat cut. Wearing a kind of dingy white suit.
Do you want me to go check it out?
You'd fit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he saw me, so
It's probably a good idea.
Not even sure if he's still there at the
I
moment.
know he saw me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He followed you on a train.
I could go check it out. It's only, what, 11? What time does the Blue Parrot or Pyramid?
It's a bar, so it's going to be open till at least 2.
Is it a touristy bar or is it really just for like local
Expats.
Egyptian expats?
You know that it's mostly an Egyptian bar, but that from what you heard, you know it's mostly an Egyptian bar, but a lot of tourists do pop in to see the floor show and hear the music. You know, kind of having a cultural experience.
Maybe we can go check it out another day.
I could go do it now. I had a nap while you
We'll
guys
wait
were.
and see if he pops up again tomorrow.
That's
It
true.
could be
Follows
nothing.
again because he did get off of the train
I
or
don't
went
know.
someplace to get a destination.
Our buddy
like that.
Jonas was real scared about stuff in London. Now there's people following us.
Jackson.
Or Jackson, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems a little too coincidental. Like maybe this is what he was scared about. The same thing.
Everything's fine. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't really done anything here though. How
But
would
if you're
anybody know
following,
it
why
here?
did he get off the train and then go to the restaurant?
Maybe we just happen to be going in the same direction.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it could just be
Could just be.
I
nothing.
doubt it. Sense trouble.
Yeah, the DM,
I didn't
DM made
sense
his
any
roll.
trouble. None at all.
I
Everything's fine.
I also did not sense any
We're all
trouble.
fine here. How are you? Alright.
I mean, I'll leave it up to you. I gave you the description. If he's still there, it may not be a bad idea to see where he goes tonight.
Do we still have the car?
the coach is available at any time.
Yeah, I'm gonna run over there.
You want company?
I have my sword cane. If you want to come, I mean, it's kind of a local.
Yeah.
You're really gonna stick out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Take the hobo with you. No.
He's good in a scuffle. In a kerfunkle.
Did anything else weird happen at the?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sky is
actually.
darkened and
There's a painting that seemed to
The
come to life for a
painting
minute.
Painting was
Oh.
insane.
A little
You
strange.
guys look a little shaken.
I'm not. I feel fine.
It was strange.
Which tent?
Kenya.
Kenyan one.
But that mountain that was in the painting had nothing to do with what we've been hearing about, though. So I'm not sure what that meant. But it was definitely not normal.
Well, that we've heard about so far.
It was Jackson sending us a message from the other side.
Yes.
It's about probably maybe a mile to there, right? Soho to where
Ish.
we're at. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there. You wanna? You're kind of.
Where was this Carlisle exhibition at?
What do you mean, where was it at?
Like where?
On the map.
Oh.
Was it in London? Was
yeah.
It's in
Part of
London.
it
The
is in
exhibition is in London.
What's
It's
it at?
hold on.
Egypt.
Let me find the name of the location. Sorry, it was
Yeah, we might.
Wembley in North London. So I think Wembley Park is in northern London.
If the top of the map is north, it's toward me.
Yeah.
What is there?
Wembley Park.
No, I mean, what is there again?
The exhibition is in
The
Wembley.
Kenyan tent.
We'll let it ride for tonight.
So the next morning, do you guys want to go back to? You want to go talk to the detective? Said no.
The detective was sort of
Brushed off.
brushed off.
I'll
Yeah.
keep an eye
And
out.
it wasn't actually the detective that brushed
Weird
you off.
Egyptians.
Yeah, it was a receptionist.
Let's talk to Mickey Mahoney at the Scoop. He had to be a pretty easy guy to get a hold of. Do you guys want to chat with him?
I left
following
a calling card with him yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you actually made it to that. You were going to.
Oh,
But
curious.
then-
it was.
What's that?
Curious.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have received a note back at the hotel at some point during the day, well,
Okay.
because you were out pretty much
yeah.
afterwards, saying stop by anytime.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we got that.
Yeah, let's go over there.
All right. So the Scoop is on Fleet Street, near Ludgate Circus. Yeah.
Does
Don't
anybody know
give a
why they're all
shit.
called circuses? I don't. I'm just curious.
Why they're called circuses?
Yeah.
It's an interchange where multiple
Okay.
streets run together. It's called circus.
Oh.
We'll usually have a circle.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. So why are circuses called circuses? Because the tents are circles?
I assume so.
Fair enough. Just curious. Never thought about that
You
before.
know, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
And
Just
now
to
you
feel-
know.
And knowing's half the battle.
That's right.
Yes.
Nobody get a shave in this neighborhood, though. No one.
Is
I'll
that
head
where
back to the
Sweet
museum.
Todd's from?
Yeah.
If it's the
Harbor
next
of
day.
Fleet Street.
That's right.
So you head in, and up on the third floor, this building's kind of shabby looking. There's a sign on the door that says The Scoop. And you probably could have picked up a copy of The Scoop at any of the newsstands as you were walking by. And it's...
Bat Boy.
Hmm?
Is it like the Weekly World News?
It's a tabloid paper. So it's not... you get the impression that they're just printing stuff mostly off of the wire, but they're kind of rewriting things to say, put a certain emphasis on things.
Embellish.
Let's call it embellishing.
Yeah, that's fair.
So who's going? Father, you are?
Mhm.
Let's all go as a group. Is that okay?
I was going to go to the museum again.
Okay.
Maybe I can find my buddy. My
Absolutely.
Egyptian friend.
That is very possible. We'll come back to that.
Well, if he's being followed by an Egyptian,
It should be you.
yeah, well, I mean, maybe he needs somebody to shadow him to see if he's being followed.
That's a good idea, actually. If we knew that he was being followed, maybe we should make sure that you go to do what you wanted to do, and then shadow him to see if somebody was following him.
All right, so we're going to split the party again?
I thought
It's
we
a
were trying
plan.
not to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
we achieved more that way.
No. We just half of us just end up sitting here bored while the other half are playing the game.
Or one of us gets in trouble and they can't deal with the
Yeah.
problem.
But whatever you guys want to do.
Yes, I am all for every party member actually contributing. Like, I don't want anybody to sit here and be like, it's a good thing I came
I
in on
am
Tuesday night
contributing.
to sit here and listen to others play.
Well, what if,
fair.
what if we did all stick together, but I want to shadow the group?
Okay.
So if we
Do you
all
have
stick
to
together,
roll to
we
see
end
if
up.
we notice you?
If we all stick together, we end up at the museum because that's where Rich is going.
I don't think Rich should go to the museum. I think we should do our things and stay together.
I believe in free will, but I would love for you to come with us.
Okay, I guess so.
Cool.
I don't think the reporter will be I was offended by my presence as all these other snobs.
Considering what he reports on and where he's
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Are you okay with coming with us?
Yeah, I'm not going to negatively affect
Alright.
that encounter, I don't think.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
So everybody's heading to the scoop.
I want a shadow though.
All right, sure. You don't. Go ahead and give me a shadow. Tell me if you're spending points.
Oh, and I'll bring
Not
my
right
satchel
now.
with me today.
Okay.
No. 2.
All right. You are confident that no one has noticed you, and you are certain that nobody else is following the group.
Okay.
You guys probably have the hired coach, so you probably took the coach there. It's kind of hard to tell, but you probably took a separate cab then, right? And followed. All right. So yeah, you guys get to the scoop. So it's kind of a shabby-looking building. It's up on the 3rd floor of the building. There's an office sign that says the scoop. And you can see, just looking through the fog glass window, the curling cigar smoke in the air from within the room.
Old newsy.
You open the door, and it's just a wall of smoke that falls out from inside. And you hear a guy just bellowing to people, "I said you need that by the deadline! You only got 20 minutes to finish the job!" And he looks up, and there's this bear of a guy. He's red hair, chomping on a big cigar. It's lit up. He's got his fist punched in the air, yelling at somebody else. And as you walk in, he abruptly stops yelling and looks, "What do you want?"
Hi. Pleasure to
"Oh,
meet you.
Father, fellow Irishman, good to see you, Father. What can I do for you?"
It was actually you that replied to my summons.
"Oh, you're Father Sully. I'm Mickey. Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
You're a friend of Jackson's, right?"
I am.
There's about 5 desks in here, typewriters at all of them, people clacking away at them, and they're all stopped as soon as he started talking to you, and looks at, "Hey, you mugs, get back to work!" And he says, come on, let's take a walk." He walks you down 2 desks over. Obviously, everybody can still hear you. This room's only, 25 by 20.
It's like this size.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't exactly a huge room. And smoke everywhere. "Can I get you something to drink? We got water."
Sure. Yeah.
Water or coffee sounds excellent. Thank you.
Walks over to the tap, pours some water into a glass that was probably washed at some point. Puts it down for you.
Yeah. Have a drink.
So, what brings you here?
I have a few questions for you.
Ha! I got some answers for you. No problem. You got some good stories for me? Always looking for a good story.
Well, we'd like to know what Jackson Elias was asking you about.
Oh, yeah, your boy Jackson. Well, he first off, he was all into this Carlisle expedition thing, and he was obsessed with death cults. It was so sad to hear what had happened to him. I mean, it's ironic that somebody who was so obsessed with death ends up dying so young, right? And with a cult chasing after him? That's crazy stuff. How'd you guys find out about all this?
Oh,
Saw him get murdered by the cult.
Oh, you did? Did you?
Yeah.
Can you give me the scoop on it? I'd love to give the write-up of a first-hand witness report.
Yeah, here's the photograph of the guy's head all.
Oh, can I print this?
Well, do you think Jackson would want his dead body printed in the paper like that?
No, but I know a lot of people love to see it.
No, it's not.
We
You
got
sure?
A photograph of it. You want to see it? It's new.
I could give you
Oh,
£2
okay.
for it.
No, I don't think we should,
That's
our
just
friend.
for the respect of the deceased. But
Tell you what. For friends of Jackson, I can go £15.
It's not about the money.
It is for me.
We want to know what happened to him.
Well, I do too. That's why I'm telling you. Give me the story. I'll write it all down.
We can,
Tell the world about it. They got to stop these kinds of crazies, right?
When was the last time you saw Jackson?
Well, it was probably a month and a half ago. He wanted to go through the back issues and pick out some stories, things that caught his eye.
Can you
Which?
let us know which ones? Yeah.
Oh, there were 3 of them that really drew him. Let me see. Pulls down and reaches into a file. I think it was these three.
Was he in? Was he in?
Go ahead, you read it.
The boxing flapper. What was he into?
That's not the one.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Lady insulted at Bishop's Park. Yeah, there's the backside.
Actually, there's another one on the front.
There's
There's a couple on here.
a
Woman with
photograph
throat
of some
cut.
bicyclists.
Was he in danger in London?
Nah, why would he be in danger? He's a good guy. But you know,
Clearly,
he didn't have time to follow up on any of these. He seemed kind of crazy, though. Kind of panicked about something. He had to kind of rush off to get back to New York.
Was his hand shaking like this?
Just like that, yeah.
Was,
So there was the one about the monstrous murders with the killer beast. Somebody got that one?
yeah, I got it.
And there was the one about the Egyptian murders. Somebody got that? And the artist,
Aye.
the crazy canvases. Let's see if I can find the one on yours.
There's a lot of stuff on this one.
Let's see.
There's a suicide on the front.
This is funny.
Is it?
Readers of the Scoop are reminded of their esteemed journal's long-standing danger protocols and are advised that the picturesque cloughs of the Derbyshire Peak district have been declared to be a zone of high danger. Remain indoors at night. Report all mysterious happenings to the
Slaughter
police
continues.
and to the Scoop.
Any Jack the Ripper stories?
That's a
was
little
25
while
years ago.
But this is the scoop. They can still be
20
bringing that up.
No, it's 40, almost 40, yeah.
Was it the turn of the century?
1885.
I thought it was happening all the way up to the turn of the century, 1900s.
So this is an interesting article here that mentions a body of another victim floating in the Thames. Thames. Sorry.
You're right.
But another victim in the so-called Egyptian murders. How many were there?
You know, it's not real sure how many, because there's some that may or may not be, but around 20.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's the time period here?
Oh, just over the past few months.
20 murders of Egyptian like expatriates.
Think so.
How come this isn't all over the
It's all good.
London Times?
Because the Scoop's got it. Not one of those crappy papers like the Times.
I was just thinking.
When's the next full moon?
So
I don't
here's
know,
the
this
question.
one girl out there looks pretty happy about shooting somebody.
Do you have any other articles that goes back to when the first victim?
Probably somewhere in the archives. I don't know.
Well then, do you mind if we take a look at the archives?
Or,
I'll tell you what.
do you have somebody
This is cool.
that could dig up all the articles for us?
Hiring a cutting service in London?
Well, I mean, we
Why don't you just go talk to Scotland Yard yourselves? You're so interested about it.
That's a damn good idea. We were actually going to be heading there today.
Well, there you go then. Bob's your uncle.
But I'm sure there's information that you can tell us that Scott.
You got any idea how many stories I read a day?
How much do you make total on a day's issue? Just
Enough that I'm willing to pay £15 for a first-hand accountant of Mr. Elias's death.
Hey, actually, it looks like Inspector Barrington was the detective on the Egyptian murders cases.
Which is probably
You
why
know him?
he was going after it.
We don't know him, but Jackson did.
Ah, well, could be the case.
Interesting.
This Mr. Shipley artist guy sounds like a fun time. I think we should go look at his paintings and stare at them for a long period.
More importantly, who's this dame?
Ah! Want me to see if I can find her for you? We got all kinds in here. You probably shouldn't be talking about that in front of the father and the lady.
Nah, we go.
If we give one of your fine employees or you £20, could you cut the articles and send them to our hotel with the Egyptian murders? I, being an Egyptian, do not want to get murdered, and it would be worth £20 to have some more information.
So for the record, £20 is about $100 in period money, which would be like dropping, more than 1,000
That's a lot.
now.
Like a pound. It's probably a lot.
A pound is about
About
$25.
About £10.
£10 is still a lot.
It's like $500.
Yeah.
That's not $500.
No, not in that period, but I
Right.
mean, 1920s money to 2020 money. Yeah.
Well, he offered us £15.
Yeah, he was offering you big money.
He hasn't showered ever. About £5. How's 5?
£5, I can get you whatever you need.
Okay.
What does he want to get?
The Egyptian murder articles.
Oh yeah, I can get you that. You said £5?
£5.
All right.
I'll give him £5.
Sure. Yeah. Where do you want me to drop that off? Tell you what, I'll have it here on the desk. You just stop by tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, what's the subscription? It's a daily paper, right?
Yeah.
What's the subscription run?
Well, 50 shillings a week. Actually, that's way too high. Like 15 shillings a week.
Delivered to our door.
Where's your door?
Hotel so and so.
I can do that.
All right.
Toss him the coins.
All right.
But all Jackson wanted to know was about these particular articles. Maybe there's more, right?
Here's this.
I'm trying to put my reading here.
Slaughter continues.
Well, he thought there was some kind of crazy evil cult working in the heart of London, but didn't have any proof of it.
What do you think?
I think if there is, I'd be willing to pay £15 for it. Anyway, you got any kind of story like that about some kind of crazy cult?
Funny you should know. No,
Doesn't,
not that.
have to have a lot of support, but if you have some photos, that'd make it even better. I'll take that from you.
Put this mask on.
Yeah. Let's show you what we got.
What can you be a cult? Cult is a very broad term. Could you be a little bit more specific?
Oh. As long as there's plenty of good blood, I'm good with it. Or, you got some saucy pictures. No offense.
I'm taken.
Unless you're willing to pose.
Now I'm getting offended.
I want to go see if we can catch that monster.
We got some leads here. For sure.
So that was 25 when that monster thing was going on. Are they still asking if they're still
24.
24?
So
It's been a year ago, right?
Almost a year.
Are they still having sightings of that?
Which one?
The monster?
The Derwent Valley residents, they still suffering from these howls?
Yeah, I think so. That was late 24th. It was only a few months ago.
Okay.
Maybe it's hibernating.
Well, it only comes out during the full moon. And we
Which is
know-
coming up soon.
It's coming up Sunday.
How far is the Midlands from here?
So the Midlands is actually not close. You're going to need to take a couple of trains. I don't think I have a whole map of England or Great Britain handy there. Let me just double check and make sure there isn't one in this
The
handout.
Midlands are
folder.
kind of in the middle.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
They
By
are
Hadrian-
aptly
like-
named.
By Hadrian's Wall type middle.
South of there.
So you're talking about going up to the Dale. If you're talking about the monster there, and that requires most likely taking a couple of trains.
I don't know. You guys want to look into that or no?
I mean, the full moon thing is pretty significant, but let's see where London,
Well,
London proper.
Is it something that we could travel to in a day?
Yeah.
It'd take less than a day to get there.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah, well, I keep forgetting how small London, or England actually is.
all right. So it's about 170 miles north of London.
It's
So
a
you'd
4-hour
catch
train.
you'd catch a train to Derby, change trains for the Hope Valley line that runs through Adale on its way to Manchester, alighting in the village of Adale, and then walk or catch a car to Lesser Adale. So yeah, it's probably about 4 hours.
You guys want to try and catch that before the full moon?
I think we have more luck on the day of the full moon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing.
I was thinking that was tomorrow. It's not.
This is out of character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the value of that is.
Well, just because it was something.
They wouldn't make a handout for it.
was into.
Yeah, I mean, Elias picked it out, but the full shit going on in the full moon is pretty.
Seems to be the same
significant
thing.
right now.
Or
Yeah.
the new moon, yeah.
I think that's probably a common trait of all. If you ever talk to someone who works in a hospital or a prison or a
Yeah.
mental institute,
Full moons.
the
are
full
weird.
moon is
Yeah,
literally off the hook.
yeah. I mean, I think it's tertiary right now,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I think
it's
the 20
interesting.
Egyptians that have
Yeah, the
been
20
killed in the
Egyptians-
past year
No, man, 2 months.
or 2 months seems like very reminiscent of something we just came from in
No
the
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. That is pretty interesting.
yeah, I mean,
If we can get a day, I think now we have a good reason to talk to Barrington more than, hey, your buddy's dead. What'd you know? Okay, bye.
Well,
I still haven't read that. Are you reading the article? Or is it-
Oh, I'm just reading all the articles.
Yeah,
I
I
find,
read two.
find the other articles more interesting than
especially the ones that happen in Louisiana. and
I
the
feel
old ones and
like
stuff.
applying to some of these people just to see what happens.
In the previous articles, there's like
I want to
stuff-
be a hammersmith.
weird stuff
forget
that
you
was
guys.
happening in northern Maine with boats and stuff. It's fun. So
I bet you that one person's probably participated in painting our Kenya portrait since they got the crazy.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And he's local, so we can check into that today probably, or talk to the constable, investigator, or what do they call him?
I'm assuming you guys have left the scoop.
Yeah.
as you're
Yeah.
having this
Yeah,
conversation.
we're not having
yeah,
this in front of
yeah,
him.
this
That's-
we're not.
yeah.
We're not.
What I do want to ask.
We
you
got what we
one more
need from this
question.
gentleman.
Sure.
Why is someone killing only Egyptians?
Something.
I'd love to know. You come up with a good reason, I'll publish it.
Not even a truth, just a good reason. I like that.
Because we're awesome.
You taste like chicken.
Let me see if I can spin that.
Yes, if you could, since we subscribe to the paper with our first issue, because you just deliver those cuttings to us.
Yeah, we can drop them off.
the bomb. Thank you.
Huh?
Tell you what though, if we do come across the story, you'd be the man I talk to.
Yes, I am. That's right.
Do you have a card?
Of course. Call anytime. Well,
Oh, it's got the subscription price up here. 13 shillings.
Out of curiosity. Oh, and what you speaking of? You're in the service, aren't you? Probably a sergeant?
of course I was.
Don't see. No, it's still a sergeant.
Thank you. Boxing.
Alright, this one here.
And this
So are we
one,
gonna go
was
talk to
was
this
our flyer?
Flatfoot?
Yeah.
I'm pretty trepidatious about going to Scotland Yard, but let's give it a whirl.
You don't have to go.
No,
I definitely am not going. Thanks for asking, though.
I am.
You're going to Scott, so that's
Well-
the next move after the scoop.
Yeah.
Let me ask a quick question. This guy does not want to talk to us.
Well, his secretary didn't want you to
Secretary
talk to him.
Right. Let's
Or
say
rather, the Scotland Yard receptionist,
Let's say
who was not necessarily his receptionist.
Let's say someone who wants to know more information about Egyptian murders, who's from Egypt, who's dressed nice and could possibly pass for someone connected with the Egyptian embassy, was curious about this case, would probably have a little bit more inroads.
Now, you say it looks like, but it is Scotland Yard. They are a major detective organization.
Right.
They are going to check your credentials, right?
Right.
I mean, you know that.
Let's say we stopped by the Egyptian embassy on the way there. Maybe got some credentials, or maybe I know some nefarious people from Egypt, or
Well, those are two very different approaches.
I'm thinking, in all honesty, I'm
You
thinking
can
if
do
you talk
either
to
one of them.
Jackson, I'm pretty sure he'll talk to us. You know what I mean?
Well, we don't know if he talked to Jackson, right?
Jackson wanted to
He
put
was
him in.
trying to, but
What does his notes actually say?
About Barrington?
Yes.
That
no, all we got
he was just a contact that Kensington told us that Jackson had.
Contact means he was talking to him.
Yeah, yeah. And based on the articles that we read, Jackson probably approached him to talk about these Egyptian murders
That's,
because he is the lead detective on the case.
believe me, your character can do whatever he wishes, but I'm just saying, like, he'll probably talk to us. I'm having, if he throws us all out and stuff like that, then we know something.
And I think because you're an Egyptian, I think Mustafa would have a better chance of actually talking to other Egyptians who may be sort of on edge because Egyptians are dying. They're being murdered. So you might have
I can't imagine there's a
How are
ton
we
of
going to get to see
expats.
Let me clarify
Professor.
one thing. I said months. It's actually 2 years that the murders happened over.
So this is an
years.
ongoing
Okay.
investigation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, the
been
one
going
article
for a
was
while.
like 1924.
Yeah, well, November or something. Of
Yeah.
1924. Or June.
Well, let's go
sorry.
see if we can talk to him. I mean, I don't know if we.
I think Scotland Yard is our next stop, probably next session.
Yeah, and I think we can go to the Blue Pyramid. We know a bunch of expatriates go there. That would be a good place too to scoop for
And
Murder victims.
murder information,
Well,
stuff that
You're looking for
Barrington
murder victims?
won't-
Yeah.
won't tell us.
Usually you know who looks for murder victims, right?
Murderers, yeah.
Yeah, okay, just be clear.
Well, tomorrow we got a 3 p.m.
It's
tea
unorthodox way
time.
that the professor goes about things.
We got the 3 o'clock tea time with
Edward Gavin.
gonorrhea or Gavignon.
That's Friday. Is it already Thursday?
It's Thursday the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So today we'll probably hit up Scotland Yard.
Let's see if we can get to see him.
Yeah. And then we dance.
Okay.
The Cthulhu dance.
Warriors.
Got a couple of minutes left. Is there any other questions you guys want to go over?
rack my brain.
Where's the? There's one more article. There were 3 that went out. So I saw the big one.
So we
the,
had
the artist.
there's an artist, there's the
Artist I didn't see.
monster in the
No, that
Midlands,
was-
and there's the
That's
Egyptian
what it
murders.
Okay.
He did
The artist one is actually.
This one here is
he
about
did
the
the monster one, I
beast.
think.
I mean, they're all interesting, but that one is
the
particularly
painting.
interesting.
Yeah, the painting.
Yeah, since I just got art history and artistic capability, I want to learn how to do that crap. I can make
There's a
paintings-
mask that we have.
No, no, no.
that
I want to show you my paintings. I don't want to look at them myself.
You just put the mask on and you can paint like that.
Is his name Pickman?
Shipley.
Yeah, Shipley is the artist.
So it probably wouldn't be a good idea to take my knife and cut
Just
that
a
painting.
regular bloke who
Yeah.
all
And
of a
you're
sudden
painting.
Yeah.
says he sees things and he just paints what he sees. And they're disturbing.
You want to see? I solved it all. Look at this girl in the back here. Just look at the look in her face.
Yeah, I already said that. The smiling girl that wants
Yeah.
to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who's doing it. That's the Egyptian
That's the
killer.
murderer right there.
I didn't see
Training
her.
the
Let me see
next
her.
black and tans.
Let me see the
You
smiling
gotta look at the
murderer.
back of everything.
Yeah.
She's very happy.
Now I gotta
She's
look
very
at this.
happy.
She got
But yeah,
trophies
Scotland
and
Yards are
everything.
next. Or I will ask him if he knows where the Shipley fellow lives.
As a matter of fact, they all
Shipley.
look happy.
The
Oh,
artist with the weird
No, I
pants.
think one of them looks by far happier than the other.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, one of them looks really serious. The other
he's
is
in
just
Chelsea, I
like,
think.
I'm gonna shoot an Egyptian.
Also, he's local.
Yeah.
Oh no. Sorry, those were balanced and then.
Okay.
What happened?
Stuff jump.
Well, thank you for the time, Nick.
Of course, come back anytime, especially if you want to sign up for another subscription or bring me a story.
Does he keep it?
All
You should
right.
really put the mask on.
No,
We'll,
actually we keep them in this.
We'll go ahead and
box.
call it here. Thank you, everyone, for playing.
Thank
you
you.
for everyone watching along at home.